here. It's big, and it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello and welcome to Live at the Bike. It's solo style. I'm David Tuckman. You guys call me Friar Tuck. My friends call me Tuckman. Call me whatever you want. I don't really care. Anyway, we've got a good game tonight. We've got No Limit Hold'em. Blinds are 5-5. Now, this is a restricted buy-in game. You can buy in anywhere from $300 to $500. And this game is really the first game that professional poker players can play. It's a game where you can make enough money. I would say a good hourly rate in this game is probably $40, $50, even $60 an hour. And if you start thinking about it in terms of a whole month, you can probably make $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a month. Cash. Not bad. Anyway, let's get to the table and see what the action is like. Seat number one, we've got Eric in the bright green shirt. Somebody turn that thing down, Jesus. Seat number two, we've got Kurt. Kurt's a new player to Live at the Bike. He's got over $700 in front of him. And this game plays big as it goes on. The longer it plays, the bigger it plays. Seat number three, we've got Art. And Art has played on the show before. And Art's an interesting player. You know, he really has a creative way of playing. It'll be interesting to see how he plays tonight. Seat number four, we've got Scott. Scott also new to the show. We might have some new players in this next 2 months. Obviously, we've got our mini-series of poker going on this month. Next month, we've got Legends of Poker, so a lot of tournament players will be in town. Seat number five, we've got Kunal. And Kunal is, he looks like he's just diving his way into some food, doesn't he? Man. Anyway, Kunal is he's actually a pretty good player. We'll get to him later. Seat number six, we got Tony sporting the Yankee cap. I got to tell you, that's got to be one of the ugliest Yankee caps I've ever seen. And I've seen some ugly ones. Seat number seven, we got John. John's got about $500 in front of him, playing with a couple of yellow chips in there. Seat number eight, we've got 2+2, where we've got Rick Nebbiolo. And Rick is a real tight, real solid player. We have yet to ever see him smile, ever. Maybe tonight will be the change. Rick's name on 2+2 is Rick Nebbiolo. And seat number nine, we have the ever lovely, sweet, wonderful Jennifer, who is no longer propping at that purple casino. She's back here at the bike. And there she is saying hi. How sweet. And we'll get right into the action. The button is in seat four. The blinds are 5-5. Primarily, this game is played with yellow chips. Those are the $5 chips. If you see any blue chips, those are ones, generally for tokes. Purple chips will be $25 chips. And if you see any white chips, those will be the $100 chips. And we're going to see this limped around three ways. $15 pot. Queen 9-4. John is out fluffed everybody, but he checks it. 4 on the turn. And at this point, if you're John, you probably got to think you're the best hand, but he's not going to bite. And now he's got to know he's got the best hand here. But it's going to check around, and John's going to take it. He's got queens and nines, queens and nines with a 5 kicker. 3 pair does not play here. Once again, I like to keep the show as interactive as possible, so you can email us at live@thebike.com. You can also follow a live thread. Go over to 2plus2.com. Go to televised poker. Go to live at the poker. Go to Live at the Bike forum for July 6th. Supposedly we have Bruce Lee in the house, according to Donna. Come back from the dead. Get a raise here from Art. Art's going to raise it up here with King 10 suited. Now, this is a table. I always talk about one of the strengths of poker. If you really want to be a good poker player, you have to be able to adapt to the players you're playing against. And look at this. We get a raise here by Art. Call by seat 6. A call by seat 7. Rick Nebbiolo is going to call in seat 8. That's going to bring in Eric. And how can Kurt refuse? Kurt is in there. And we're going to see this 6 ways. The pot is $150. Jack 7 deuce. And Kurt has outflopped them all. Not really the flop you're looking for with Jack 10, but he does have the best hand right now. And Kurt makes a nice, strong bet here, real strong. Oftentimes we'll see somebody make kind of a girly bet. They'll throw in like a $50 bet or a $40 bet. He bets 2/3 of the pot. The pot was $150. He's putting $100 in there, and that's going to be enough to take it down. Now, apparently, Bart has, even though the debacle, the $5,000 debacle that he went through on Tuesday, he has decided to buy himself into today's Omaha tournament, and he is still in it. Apparently, he and Shirley Rosario are actually at the same table, and they're both still in it. I think they're down to less than 200 people, and both of them are still in it, so our best wishes are with them both. Hopefully, they'll get to the final table. And we're going to see this 3 ways. $15 pot. All clubs, ace, 9, 6. Nobody's got much of anything. Jennifer's got the best hand here with a 6. Nobody has a club in their hand. It's going to be one of those, whoever bets takes it down. And I got to tell you, at a table like this, when you see some players showing a lot of weakness, why not bet it? $5. And Rick's going to put $5 in there, and that's going to be enough to take it down probably. Wow, there it is. I can't believe it. Oh, my God. That is the first smile in the history of Rick Nebbiolo's life. Right there. He's so excited he bluffed at it, and he took down the pot. I love it. I could have done without the tongue, but I didn't really need that. But, hey, little lizard there slithered out.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense.
But that was great. That really made my night.
Yeah, right now, Tuckman's like, Jen's kind of great. Never mind.
Yeah, I heard that.
Oh, you heard the
Art is going to raise it up in early position with a couple of red 9s.
Yeah. How about those aces?
Now, how is Jen going to play this? It's always tough to play ace-queen. She's got ace-queen suited, though,
How about those aces?
in the small blind, and she's going to put the money in there, and she's going to get heads up here. Not a good flop for ace-queen. And you imagine she's going to check, Art's going to bet, and she's going to fold. And I got to tell you, oftentimes the hand like ace-queen suited, and some people can call me too tight. If I'm in a tough game and a tough player has raised, I don't really want to call them heads up with ace-queen. Sometimes I don't even want to call them heads up with ace-king. Because you've got to realize how much money you're going to make with that hand. You've got to realize that, okay, if you hit your ace, your hand is not well disguised. And if they have 9s or 10s or jacks, you're not going to make any money off them. On the same hand, if they have ace-king, you're going to lose a lot of money. In that case, especially if you have ace-queen. You've got to also realize, if somehow some magical flop comes out for Art and it comes out ace-9-4, you have no idea where you're at. Are you up against ace-king? Are you up against pocket 9s? You don't really know. And obviously, if your queen were to fall, yeah, you might say, well, the queen can fall. Well, you can still be up against pocket kings. It just can be a tough hand to play out of position. Position is really so important when you're talking about no limit hold'em.
35.
And John is going to make it $35 to go. He's got ace-jack offsuit. And Jennifer's got pocket kings. And she's going to re-raise it.
100.
She makes it 100 to go. And you imagine this is going to be an easy fold for John when it gets back to him with ace-jack. Now, I like the raise by John. No, most times I don't really like ace-jack, but he's got to realize you have Rick Nebbiolo to your left and you have Jen to his left. And by raising 2 off the button, which we have to call a hijack spot, by raising in that spot, more often than not, you will buy yourself the button. You will be able to act last on after every card comes off. Now, it'll only happen once in a while where you will bet and get re-raised. And when you do, you can safely throw away ace-jack, knowing you are way behind. first post here from Evil Jeff. He said, wanted to know if my avatar was a glamour shot. I actually didn't put it up there. I believe KevMath put that up there. So I'll have to ask him. Get a raise here from Eric. He's got Jack 5 suited. It's a hand that got some hidden value there. And he's going to get called in a couple of spots, and we're going to see about a $75 pot. Now, this is the problem with Art's hand. He's called out of position with ace-8. Has no idea where he's at. Now, in this case, yeah, he's got the best hand, but he's not going to make any money off of it. Now, he's going to bet it right away. He wants to see where he's at, and I don't mind that play at all. Ace-8 is not a hand that I generally want to. I don't really want to be checking. I don't want to be check raising. I don't want to make the pot too big with a hand like that. Now, sometimes I might, with a hand that weak, I might even check call and then bet on the turn if a safe card comes off. One of the reasons why I'm not usually calling raises with ace-8 suited out of position.
Exactly. Thank you. Tomorrow's lunch, we'll hear about it.
So I read about another 25 pages of this Sklansky and Ed Miller No Limit Hold'em Theory and Practice book. I got to tell you, the more I read it, the more I like it. I got to give Sklansky and Miller some credit. This book is actually really good. I think they get a little bit too mathematical for my taste. I mean, I understand obviously mathematics are part of the game and a big part of my game as well. But sometimes they get so advanced, I feel like I'm in like calculus class or something. Tony's going to raise it up with aces, and I don't think anybody's going to call. Nope, he's going to take it down. And some people really, they're upset when they don't get action with their aces. Now, I think in a tournament, you really need to get action when you get those big hands, aces and kings. You want action with those big hands. Because in a tournament, more often than not, people are going to go broke. They're willing to put a lot of chips in with just top pair, top kicker. You know, let's say they have ace-queen, the flop comes out queen high, and you have pocket aces. They will lose most of their chips with you with just ace-queen. But in a cash game, I got to tell you, especially when you're deep stacked, not so much in this game right now, but when you're deep stacked, pocket aces, I am very happy just winning a small pot with pocket aces. Generally, if the pot gets real big and I have pocket aces, I'm in trouble. Eric's going to raise it up this time. He's got king-queen offsuit. He's going to buy himself the button.
Yes, exactly. He's being very serious.
And there's Kunal, by the way. Now, Kunal is kind of he's kind of one of those players. He'll play in the small game, but he'll also play in that big 20-40 game. And it's Tony. He just calls. Okay, he got changed for 100. And that's going to bring in John with the suited ace.
3 players.
And we're going to see this 3 ways. Rick quickly throws away his own king-queen. And there's the flop. It misses everybody. You imagine Eric should be able to take this one away.
75.
And he bets 75 into about a $100 pot, and that should be enough to take it down. One of my favorite hands that Tony had was 4-5 of spades. Love that hand. Part of the reason why I love that hand is if by some chance, by some miracle, you actually flop the top end of the straight, it comes out ace, deuce, 3. Oftentimes somebody will have an ace. Another thing I also like about it is rarely are your cards dominated. Very rarely. Like in that one case, actually, somebody had ace-5, so he was in bad shape with 2 5s to come off. But more often than not, if it comes out with 2 4s or it comes out with 2 pair, you're in pretty good shape. So I might have a couple of guest commentators come in, put their 2 cents into the show tonight. Obviously, once again, Bart is in Vegas, trying his luck in the $5,000 Omaha event.
Option. 3 players.
3 ways, limped around, $15 pot. Ace, 10, deuce, rainbow. And Eric's got the best hand here,
15.
but Kunal's going to take a shot at it. He figures, you know what, it was limped around, why not? Now, Tony's going to call with a deuce. Wow. And Eric's going to raise it up with a weak ace. And some people can say, well, why is Kunal just betting blind with nothing there? And I'm not usually a big fan of bluffing into nothing, with nothing. 5 on the turn changes nothing. Tony's getting the king or a deuce here. And does Eric really want to build a big pot with a hand as weak as ace-8? Well, he's betting, though, $65. And Tony is tortured by this. I mean, all he has is a pair of deuces. And he throws it away. Now, I was going to say, sometimes if you want to try to steal a pot, and obviously stealing pots is part of the game, in an unraised pot, if I'm in early position and an ace comes off, I often feel like I can bet into it because I figure anybody in late position who had an ace, a big ace, would probably have raised. So I feel safe sometimes where, okay, I can probably take a shot at this if I'm in early position. You got to realize that even if somebody has a hand like ace 8, ace 5, can they take much heat? They know that I'm very capable, obviously, of limping in an early position with a hand like ace queen. And obviously, if I'm in the blind with ace queen or ace king, I might not necessarily raise it up. They also know I will bet my big hands. They also know I'll bet 2 pair. I'll bet a set. So they're put in a really tough spot that they really want to raise me with a weak ace, making that pot bigger when they've got such a vulnerable holding.
Does anybody want to go?
Get a chip count now, $4,800 on the table. And this is one of those games I was saying, the first couple hours you might only make $25, $30 an hour. But if you play it for 4 or 5 hours, you might start making $50, $60, even $70 an hour. Kurt's in the lead there with $900. Let's see how they're doing. Kurt up 400, Art up 250. Kunal down a quick 500. We'll keep track of this throughout the evening.
4 players.
4 ways, $20 pot. And the guy in the button, he's got an ace 3 there, ace of diamonds, 3 of clubs. Scott there with an ace also. And in all likelihood, this will probably get chopped up. Well, you never know. The 6 is still playing, believe it or not. Remember, it's your best 5 cards in Hold'em with deuce of diamonds on the turn. Now, nobody has a real big diamond. I mean, Kurt's got a jack of diamonds, but it's such a dry draw. I mean, do you really want to get involved? Now, Tony has the ace of diamonds. And I imagine, obviously, the ace 6 is out of there. So Tony cannot lose this hand right now. Top pair with diamond draw. And Kurt called there. I mean, I'm not quite sure what you're looking for. I mean, if you hit the diamond, can you really even bet it? But look at this. Kurt is going to bet. And all Tony can do is call. And it's really a crying call at that. Not sure what Rick Nibbiola is doing in the pot. Yeah, obviously not going to overcall with just a pair of jacks there. And Tony's going to take it down with a pair of aces. Best 5 cards, obviously. So it's a pair of aces, jack 7-4. His 3 does not play. Once again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or you just want to say hi to me, send me an email at live@thebike.com. I do like to read them. Oh, there we go. Whole bunch of messages. Cool. Button moves over to seat number 7.
Players.
5 ways, $25 pot. 9-7-5, couple of diamonds out there. Eric with the best hand here with 9-4 in kind of 3rd position. That's one of those hands where I'm either going to bet it or I'm just going to kind of give up right away on it.
25.
And that's not a bad play. Put some money in there, put some pressure on your opponents. And wow, and Tony's going to actually, Tony has a bigger kicker there. He's king 9, didn't see that one. And he's going to raise it up. Sometimes you can actually raise and control pot size by raising. And Eric's going to throw it away. And Tony takes it down. Get a post here from Jason email. He says, hey, Dave, please keep us updated on how Bart is doing. The new card player site absolutely sucks. Jason, thanks for the email. Yeah, it is pretty weak, I think, too. Kind of being sponsored by Full Tilt and everything. Not a big fan of it either. Yeah, I couldn't find any information about Bart either. He gave me a call at the last break. and told me he was at Shirley Rosario's table. They were both still in. Neither one had a lot of chips, but, you know, anything can happen, obviously. One hand in that, and really you're turned around.
20.
Now we get a raise here out of Art. Art's got ace-king. Kunal's going to call him with a suited ace, ace-jack. And is Eric going to call out of position with ace-10? He is, wow.
3 players.
Only one ace left. And not surprisingly, it does not come. Ace-king is still the best hand, though, here. Queen 7-7. And Art's going to continue here, and that's probably going to be enough to take it down.
35.
Kind of a weakish bet, though. He bets 35 into about a $75 pot. And Kunal kind of smells the weaknesses, and he's going to call. He's going to kind of float one off here in position. Oftentimes you can call there. You don't have to raise right away. You can call one time, see what your opponent does on the turn, and if he checks to you, well, now you can raise. Or now you can actually bet it. But here, Art's going to bet one more time.
60.
And he bets 60 this time. Still a relatively weak bet, about 40% of the pot. But does Kunal really want to raise him? If he raises him, it's going to have to be probably $200. Oftentimes you can float one off there. If your opponent checks to him the turn, you can then take it away. King on the river would have actually given Art a pair, but he didn't need it. Get a post here, an email from Matt. He says, "Hey, Tuck, favorite player to watch on Live at the Bike is Jonas, but he hasn't been around in like a month. I know you brushed on it a couple of weeks ago, but was wondering if he's just running that bad or just hasn't been playing on the show. Also, does anyone know how to get complete chip count updates to the World Series of Poker? Not only the big-name players." Thanks a lot, Mike. Matt, sorry. Yeah, I don't know how to get all the chip updates. As for Jonas, he's still playing here and there. He has been running bad lately. But he's still around. And definitely playing.
45, 7.
Jonas is one of those guys that he will always be searching for the best game. Always searching for the live ones. Get a raise here out of John. He's got ace-5 suited. And he's going to take down all the dead money. Makes it $30 to go, and he takes it all down. And this is great here. Email here from Bertie McIntyre. He says, "Hey, Bart and Phil. Hey, Tuck, Phil Hellmuth is on the verge of getting his 10th bracelet." Yes, apparently I think there's 4 players left in the $5,000 no-limit event. No-limit hold'em event. By the way, that's the event that Bart entered but decided not to play. And Phil is in 4th place on that one. Hey, you know, if Phil wins, maybe we can talk to him about getting Bart his $5,000 back. Anyway, and he says here, hopefully Bart is on the verge of getting his first. Yeah, I'll drink to that.
Proper names. 25 more.
And we got a small little raise here. We're going to see it heads up. $70 pot. Eric raised it on the button, and Art called it a dominated queen. Lucky for him, a queen did not fall. And Art's going to check, Eric's going to bet, and Art's going to fold. Email here from Dawn Summers. For shame, Dave. I watch the show every day, usually a replay, and I'm definitely obsessed with the live action and love listening to the commentary. However, recently you've been dogging women poker players with your comments that someone is making a girly bet, quote unquote. Or yesterday when you said Barry played this hand like a girl. I have to take offense. On behalf of all the female poker players out there, playing like a girl does not always mean passive or weak. I expect those type of comments from Bart, not from you. Anyway, keep up the good work. Just quit underestimating the ladies. I do apologize, Dawn, and when I make that statement, I got to say it has nothing to do with being a girl. I'll have to come up with another way of saying it, though. I know it doesn't make any sense, okay, but I'll have to come up with another way of saying that a guy is playing like a pussy. You know, lift up your skirt and strap on some balls. 4 ways. There's the king, and Tony has outflopped them all. King 9-7, Rainbow. Art's got a piece of it. And Art's going to bet right away. He's going to see where he's at with second pair. And can Tony really? Well, Tony's pretty short right now. Might be in a spot where you just want to put your money in. Who knows? And he's going to make it 140. Wow. And I think it's time for Art to go away here. Got to realize, you look at that board there, too. King 9-7. Not real draw heavy. I mean, I suppose somebody could be betting with a draw like a 10-8, 6-8. But more often than not, if somebody's raising there, they probably have the king. Yeah, and just for the record, Ronnie is short. He wanted me to tell everybody that. Ronnie is like 4'4". Is that what you wanted me to say, Ronnie?
I show too. You have to ask.
Do me a favor, somebody email me another way to say that somebody is making a weak bet. No, weak, it sounds so weak, though. So lame. I got to come up with something better than that.
Let me see.
Raise here from Eric. He's got King Jack offsuit in late position. Makes it $30 to go. Well, there's the Jack. Jack 9-6, and Tony is in bad trouble here. Now, we saw that he was ready to commit his chips to the hand like top pair 5 kicker. Well, this is top pair 10 kicker. Is he really going to lose all his chips here? Let's see what happens. And right now, he's in real bad shape. He needs a 10 and only a 10 on the river. 4 spades on the turn. And Eric's going to continue to bet. He's going to continue to build himself a pot. And Tony has no idea where he's at. Obviously, you can't beat King Jack, can't beat Ace Jack, can't beat Queens, Kings, or Aces. You can beat, say, a flush draw or a straight draw. Say somebody had, say, Ace, King of Hearts. But he's going to move all in. And obviously, we see this mistake all the time in the lower limits. You know, amateurs obviously overestimating top pair, no kicker. And more often than not, when you get raised on the turn, one pair is not good. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Eric laid this down. But you've got to realize that some of these players just overestimate top pair, no kicker. And the raise is how much more? $280 more. Wow. So the pot is about $500. $280 to call. Tony doing the bouncing dance. And Eric is going to, I'm still thinking about it with his green shirt. Fancy little green shirt there. Apparently he wants to use a lifeline.
Want to ask the audience?
Well, he could ask me. I got to tell you, I'd phone a friend, I'd phone me. Ask him what to do. I'll tell you. I'd call Eric. And he's going to call here. Obviously, the precedence of, if there weren't 2 hearts out there, you'd probably see him lay it down a lot quicker. But with 2 hearts out there, I think he goes, you know what, this guy could have a heart draw. I'm going to call. And the river is a 9, and the king is going to play. Both players have jacks and 9s. Tony's got a 10 kicker. Eric's got a king kicker. Hold'em is a game of kickers. Okay, we got an email here from Jason. Jason is a breakaway over on 2+2. Okay, so here's the deal. And he uses his caps here, so I'll scream it. Oh, I'm not going to scream it. I can't scream it. I'm not Bart. I can't get a bankroll started. As you know, I'm a dealer, so I don't have a great money situation, but I'm all right. After the bills are paid and everything else, I can afford about 1 buy-in a week in the no-limit game that I like to play. Actually, it's the only no-limit game offered. It's a weak-ass 1-2 blind game with a $300 max buy-in. It's hard to win any real money there. On a decent night, I will win, say, a couple $100, but on a losing night, I can lose 2 buy-ins, $600. Okay, well, that's obviously a problem, and we're going to get to that in a second.
40.
Get a raise here out of Kurt. He makes it $40 to go with ace-queen. And I don't think Eric's going to call out of position with 7-8 here. Now, in position is a little bit different. I mean, both players are pretty deep, but out of position, I can pick a better spot, can't you? I hope he just doesn't take this long for every decision. Now, Barry Greenstein, I've had a lot of conversations with Barry Greenstein, and if you ever read his book, Ace on the River, you'd know he actually talks about he no longer really looks at it as, oh, I've won 9 out of 10 sessions. He doesn't really care if he wins 9 out of 10 sessions. What he's looking for is he wants to win more money than he loses. Pretty obvious, pretty basic. But a lot of us get caught up with, oh, I want to have a winning session. Now, if you win $30, win $50, win $60, win $120, win $200, and then lose $1,200, it's obviously not going to work, okay? You've got to be able to, you want those wins to be more than the losses. Now, I know this seems really obvious, but I think a lot of players have this problem.
15.
Art's going to make it $15 to go with ace-6 offsuit. That's a hand I don't like in any position, anywhere, ever. I guess maybe heads up I like it. We got a new player coming in seat 6. His name is going to be Nader. I'm not sure what his name is now, but he's going to be Nader. Now, Kunal has put out a little bet here. He's got top pair. And Art's going to call a $35 bet. Rick quickly gets out of there, and I'm not sure what Art is calling for. He's got a gut shot. Well, can he represent the king? Remember, he was the pre-flop raiser. But Kunal has picked up a flush draw. And Art's going to try to represent the king. He's going to try to represent maybe ace-king here. And he bets $60, but I think Kunal can easily call this. And Kunal's going to call. 8 of diamonds is going to change nothing. And is Art going to stop here? No, he gives up. He checks it. Kunal's going to be very happy to take a showdown. And he's going to win it with a pair of sevens. So that's first off. We're going to get to this now. This is Jason. This is breakaway over on 2+2. Obviously, your first problem there is instead of looking at a win as a session, trying to win a session, it's try to win money. Now, oftentimes what we end up doing is we play longer, and we play longer when we probably shouldn't. We're playing longer sessions when we're losing, trying to get the money back. And we play shorter sessions when we're winning, when it probably should be reversed. We should be playing the longest sessions when we're winning, when our table image is good, when we're really focused. Because more often than not, most of us play our best poker when we are winning. We play our worst poker when we're losing. Okay? It shouldn't be that way, but it is. Art's going to raise it up with ace-king. Eric's going to call with ace-jack. And we are heads up, and Jennifer is not in there with queen-10. Ronnie's ignoring that fact. 5-4-4. See? Once again, my favorite hand, 5-4. It always comes up. The power of the 5-4. Deuce on the turn. Changes nothing. Eric's going to need a jack and only a jack. Ace does nothing except probably lose him some money. And he's going to put out a little $20 bet, and that's going to get called by Art. And Art's going to win. Both players have aces and fours, but obviously Art's kicker is bigger. I've got some exciting news here. I've got the one, the only potato in the house. No plate is complete without a potato.
Hi,
And
Dave.
here he is.
Good
How
to
you
be
doing,
here.
buddy? Great to see you. I am getting great information out of Phil Gordon's Little Green Book. This is actually his book.
I love that book.
It's actually really good. It's on my recommended list. I like it a lot. I thought you were going to play in tonight's tournament.
I was.
What happened?
I was going to stay out in Orange County and wasn't going to make the trek in, and then I changed my mind here. I heard there's an opening. I said, hey, I gotta yap at Dave. I gotta make fun of. I got a lot of things going. I have to make fun of Art.
God,
Gotta play some poker.
I feel so bad for him, don't you?
Yeah, I do have a possibility of one way of how he can get his money back.
Really? I'm sure
Yeah.
he'll be happy to hear that.
In between hands, I'll tell you what it is.
Well, Eric's raised it up and he's taking it down. Go ahead. Eric's raised it up with deuce 7, by the way, out of the blinds and steals the pot.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry, I haven't forgot about you, Breakaway. I'm going to get back to your email in a second. Maybe Jay can help you out, too.
I just shot
So
Breakaway
you're,
a private message. Here's my thing for Bart.
Okay, go ahead.
If Phil Hellmuth wins the tournament, then I think Bart should go up to Phil with ESPN crew, camera crew, in tow, and tell Phil his bad beat story. And get it validated and say, hey, can I have, because first prize is like 28% of the prize pool.
First place is like, what, $1 million? And like
700 something. And so he can get a couple grand out of Phil. Phil's worth some 7 figures.
I got to tell you, I know obviously you say it in half jest.
No,
but it's not a
I'm-
bad idea.
I'm
really
half
isn't.
serious.
It would be great press for Phil Hellmuth.
Right.
It would hit all the papers.
Right.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. I do agree with Harris, though, of not setting a precedent of giving money back after.
There's nothing they can do,
yeah.
really. The money's already in the prize pool. There's nothing they can do. John's going to raise it up with ace-king, and he takes it down. Now, I got an
think
email.
we just learned that 7 deuce and ace king, if you raise it up before the flop, you'll take care of it also. They're equal hands.
Right. Well, you gave me a quiz question while we were in Vegas together, and I answered it correctly, and I'm going to ask our viewers the same question. I'll let you ask the question.
Okay, I'll ask the viewers, and I'll tell you, the first one to email back the correct answer, I'll fork out $14.95 for their first month of the archives.
Wow.
To the first person. I was actually thinking about this on the drive-in.
Wow. Okay, go ahead.
If they promise that they'll take the $14.95 and subscribe to the archives, then I'll do it.
Look at this.
If they're already subscribed, they can just put it in their bankroll.
By the way, this potato is not on our payroll. Okay.
No, but
Actually,
I
we have
believe
no payroll.
Yeah,
Anyway.
you have no payroll, but I think I've earned enough money on the poker table to say I owe Live the Bike something and its viewers.
Now, Scott's going to raise it up here. He's going to bet it with ace-10. He had top pair. Kunal actually is going to call this with pocket eights. And Art, he has made his gut shot straight draw on the turn, and it checks around.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
They're drawing dead after the turn.
Right. Now, obviously, the 5 of spades, the spade there really scared Art. And you wonder what the heck Art was even in there with it. I mean, he had a gut shot straight draw with 2 spades out there. You couldn't play it hard. Now, he's going to get called by ace-10. Scott's going to call him. Kunal's not going to overcall him. Art's going to show down this straight. And the table's probably going to be wondering, like, look, he's even looking.
He's looking, right.
What does he have? What? Are you kidding me? Shaking his head, just wondering, how do you overcall with deuce-4 offsuit?
That's not nice, man.
Now, if you had deuce-4 of spades, it's different. But deuce-4
Right.
offsuit, I mean, basically you've got 4 outs, one of which you don't even know if it's good.
Right. Well, he's getting up now. He's got
Yeah. He said, I've had enough of this game.
right. Nothing more to figure out in this game.
Okay, so go ahead. What is the quiz question? And this is for a,
This is for $14.95.
$14.95, the first month of your archive subscription. Go ahead.
And the question is, what is the optimal number of opponents in a Hold'em hand? What is the optimal number of opponents in a Hold'em hand?
Okay, so first email us at live@thebike.com. And the first email that answers it correctly, the potato will fork over $14.95 for your first month of subscription. Wow. Friends and family and enemies are not eligible. And short people are definitely not eligible.
Yeah, we have no friends, so that eliminates no one.
Flop is queen 7-4, 2 clubs out there. Kunal's the best hand, and he bets $35 into about a $35 pot. Eric's thinking about it with nothing. And he's going to throw it away. I think that's a great idea. Actually, I was noticing that Phil Hellmuth was doing so well, and I said, you know what? I go, that's probably the guy you want to go to.
Right. I looked at the other ones. Marcel Lusk is the only other, but Phil is such a attention hound that I think it would work.
It'd be
Or it'd be
priceless.
interesting, nonetheless.
It's not a bad idea.
It is a bad beat story, though, isn't it?
Oh, man.
Oh, it just hurts.
Brutal.
It
Well,
hurts.
apparently Bart and Shirley Rosario are at the same table in the Omaha tournament.
Oh, really?
And they're both still in, although I can't get an update. I'm kind of...
Yeah, Breakaway was asking me about an update earlier, and I hadn't heard from
Yeah.
Bart or
I
Shirley.
spoke to him after the third break, but nothing since. Art's going to raise it up to $20 with Queen Jack. Kunal's not going to call it 7 deuce, and nobody else is going to call. And we're going to see no flop here.
Just in case.
Now, I actually got this book. I got the No Limit Hold'em Theory and Practice from Sklansky and Miller.
This just came out, right?
Just came out, and I started reading it. I'd say about 100 pages through it. It's actually really good. It got ripped a little bit on 2+2, I know.
Yeah, I saw that.
Kind of similar to his Theory of Poker book. And it is similar, but he kind of takes his Theory of Poker and then applies it specifically to No Limit Hold'em. And I like it.
Oh, good. I'll have to grab that from you when you're
Definitely.
done.
So when are you headed back to Vegas?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe during the main event or while that lifestyle show is going on, make it out there. I'm planning on doing a super satellite or a mega satellite. See if I can get a seat in the main event. My initial trip out to Vegas didn't yield the results that I had last year, so I was a little disappointed. But I'm over that now because it's so exciting to see what's going on.
Right. Now we're going to see a raise here out of seat 1. Eric's going to make it $35 with pocket 4s. Art's going to call him with King 8 suited. That's going to bring in Nader. Nader's made it $300 to go.
Are you serious?
But we've got to see his cards.
Put your cards in your window. So I can see.
And he's got a monster. He's got pocket 7s. By far the best hands. Nader's one of those guys, he will play the bigger games occasionally, but it's funny how much he tightens up when he plays in those big games as compared to this game.
I haven't seen him play before. I think the monster is.
Yeah, and he takes it down. Well, man, I didn't think pocket 4s or King 8 suited was going to call, but hey, you never know. Okay, so I want you to read this email here from Jason. It's breakaway over on 2+2, and maybe you can give him some advice on how he can build his bankroll up. And then I'll obviously throw in my 2 cents as well. And I believe Jennifer is straddling. And anytime Jennifer is straddling anything, we're big fans.
I'm working.
Now we got pocket queens for Rick Nebbiolo in the big blind. We haven't heard from him all day. He's got a couple of black ladies. See how he plays it. Now we've got 1, 2, 3. Wow, look at this. 3 limpers, and then Scott is going to re-raise. He's actually going to raise it on the button with 7-8 suited. He makes it $40 to go. Now it's funny, in the bigger game, I like to mix up my raises, especially with these kind of garbage, kind of garbagey little, suited connector type hands.
Right.
But in this game, when you're not that deep, I don't really like to put 10% of my stack in there with a sand that's so speculative. And Rick is now going to raise this, and that's the problem. Sometimes, if you raise with 7-8 suited, the hand you really want to be up against is pocket queens.
Right.
But if you raise, you enable them to re-raise you off your hand, and now you can't call. While if he just limps, and Rick makes it, say, 50 to go or 60 to go, and you get a couple of callers in there, you can actually call with 7-8 suited.
Right.
Depending on how deep you are.
Now you have some odds to call with.
Right.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why sometimes, especially in this game, when I'm not that deep, I'm not going to be raising in late position with pocket 4s or pocket 5s, hands that I really want to see flops with, and I want to be up against aces or kings.
Right. Right.
So I can break.
Because when you hit, they're going to go with you all the way.
Oh, of course. Right. Especially in this game. Nobody's going to get away from an overpair in this game. So we're pretty excited. We've got our own mini-series of poker going on. And not to hype our own tournament, but I got to tell you, our structure is great. I mean, you actually get 10 times the buy-in in chips. So, for example, today's tournament was $250 no limit hold'em. You get $2,500 in chips.
These are great structures
Yeah.
and nice, wide range of affordable tournaments.
I mean, I'm not usually a big fan of the Bikes tournaments. Denny's always threatened that he'll eat me, but I actually really like the mini-series, and I obviously like the Legends, which starts on August 3rd.
Yeah.
Oh, King Jack 4 here, and Art could be in trouble here. He is badly dominated with King Queen against John's Ace King.
Look at that. King Queen 2%.
He's in
He's
real bad shape. Well, right now,
And he's feeling good about his hand.
well, right now he needs to be his 2% because if a queen were to fall, Nader makes it straight.
Right.
Now, once Nader gets out of there, which you assume is going to happen right now,
Oh, I see.
he's got a little bit of a better edge. A queen is good. But is he going to commit all his chips? Because that's exactly what John is doing. Wow. Now we had a bet here. We had a bet here from Art. We had a call from Nader. And then John has re-raised all in for another $320. Now this pot is close to $600. Over $300 to call. I mean, I look at King Queen and you can't beat anything.
Right.
You can't beat Ace King and you can't beat King Jack. Do you really think this guy is going to move all in with a hand as weak as, say, King 10? I mean, it could be a big semi-bluff with, say, Ace Queen of Diamonds or Ace 10 of Diamonds, something like that. But, I mean, I just don't like King Queen here at all.
Right. After that kind of heat. And I think he's going to come to that decision.
You think so? You think he's going to lay it down? We'll see.
No, I think he's going to lay it down.
Okay.
Wow, he looks like he's seriously considering it, though.
He is. I can't see past that green shirt, though. God, did he lose a bet or something? That's unbelievable.
Is the Tour de France coming through town?
I mean, you wonder. I mean, like, what is he, the leader today? That is the ugliest shirt I've ever seen in my life. Unbelievable.
Eric's our third commentator today.
Jeez. Art really being put to the test here. You got to realize how weak King Queen is here.
Well, don't worry, I'll listen to what you
sometimes
say.
you just look at the size of your pot and you go, oh, I got it. I have top pair. I raised. It's my pot.
As soon as I get back to the office.
See, this is where he's thinking, maybe he has ace jack. Maybe start manufacturing those hands.
Oh, totally. Start
trying to talk yourself into
thinking of hands that maybe this guy could possibly have. Now, you got to realize if the guy has something like, say, Ace Queen of Diamonds, you are not very good. You're not in good shape. Obviously, an ace would beat you.
Right.
Okay. A 10 would beat you. A diamond would beat you. He would actually be a favorite over you if he had, say, Ace Queen of Diamonds or Ace 10 of Diamonds. So you got to start thinking of the other hands possible. Even if he was in on a draw, you still have a player behind you. You have to act.
Guys over there in the Inland Empire.
Well, while he thinks about it, I'm going to get back to this email here by
Okay.
Jason Menendez, because I think a lot of players have this problem where, let's say they play 5 sessions, they win 4 out of 5 sessions, and in the 5th session they lose more than they won the first 4 sessions.
Right.
And he's having a lot of problems starting up and getting a bankroll going. What is the best way, in your opinion, to get a bankroll going? How do you get it started?
Yeah,
Because it can be difficult, obviously, for somebody who works, a normal job, 40 hours a week, and has kids. I know Breakaway. I believe he was home with his daughter one time he was watching the show. So.
Yeah, in his email, he's not really saying what his bankroll is, but he's saying he can blow through a couple of buy-ins on a losing night, 200, 400, 600.
Right.
I think you have to. I mean, you got to go back to this. What is your bankroll?
Wow, and he just moved all in here. He actually called. Sorry.
Wow. All right,
Doesn't
well,
really make a difference though.
there goes Nader. I'll bet.
Well, that's an easy lay down for Nader now.
Oh my God.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It really is. And that has got to be the worst thing for Art. Art needs running queens to win this hand, by the way. Art needs running queens to win this hand. Nader, by the way, can catch one of the remaining queens to win it as long as it doesn't come another queen. And John just needs nothing special to come out.
Right.
Like a 4 and a 3 would be fine.
Yeah, I feel like Gabe Cap.
And there's the king. And Art has made trip kings, but it's no good. The river's a 9 changes nothing. Now, Nader and Art checked it down the rest of the way. But John is going to win the entire pot. He has trip kings, ace kicker. Art's got trip kings, queen jack kicker. And you got to realize, we always talk about this, if your hand wasn't good on the flop, the king on the turn didn't change anything.
Right.
I mean, unless your opponent was in there with jack 4.
Right. Your hand improves, but you're still behind.
Right, exactly. And you've got to realize that. Unless your opponent was in there somehow with jack 4 or pocket aces, nothing changes with that king of clubs that comes off.
Right.
Because if he had king jack, and now he's got a full house. If he had ace king, well, now he's still got you out kicked. That makes no difference. We always see people overplaying trips there. In that case, Art actually overplayed it before he even got the king in the turn. Anyway, I'm sorry. So go back to Jason Menendez.
Oh, I think I don't know what his bankroll is, but he's. It sounds to me in here is he's talking about, I had a really bad beat, and I flopped a set and got outdrawn.
Right.
And I really think you have to stop and say, is that the reason that you lost the one bad beat? Did you have any suck outs? How are you playing? What are your decisions going in there? And I think that doesn't help your bankroll, but I think that helps you evaluate how are you playing. Are you really playing well? Because you and I know if we just focus on the times that we lose, then we tend to start blaming everything that's going on luck and not looking at ourselves and saying, am I really making good plays? Am I playing above my means? Am I scared? How is that coming along? But I think in this email, Jason needs to work on smaller limits. From the bankroll.
Case 9 falls on the flop here. 9-4-3, all hearts. 3 players have top pair. Nader's actually in pretty good shape here. He's got top pair with the queen kicker, and he's going to move all in. Art's in terrible shape here. Top pair, 10 kicker. Heart is no good. He needs a 10 and only a 10 to win this spot. I think everybody else is going to get out of there, and they do. And look at John there. He's still stacking his chips. Huge pot there. That was over a $1,200 pot, by the way. And Art's going to call, and Art needs a 10 and only a 10. He's in terrible shape. King of diamonds, sorry. And there's the queen, actually, and Nader makes 2 pair, and he's going to win it. Take it down. Yeah, I was going to say, actually, now, from what it sounds like, he can only play in this game, say, once a week. And obviously, if you're working and it's tough like that,
right.
Like you said, it's baby steps. I always try to point out, I go, if you are winning, play longer. If you can. Obviously, if you've got, family responsibilities and stuff, and you can't play longer, okay, then be in that way. But if you're not playing well and you're losing, that's not the time to play a longer session.
Right. That's excellent advice. And I think you have to stop and evaluate that, too, because the human tendency, especially if you're more of a gambler, then it's when you're losing, then that's when you want to put more time. And that's one reason to get out. All right, do we have an answer to our quiz?
I clicked on the little send button, and we got 29 emails, so it might take me a second to go through
Adam
these.
says, pay me.
But it's whoever's the first one here.
Yep.
Now, we got a raise here by seed 8, Rick Nebbiolo. He makes it 35 with queens. Eric calls, Nader calls, and Scott's going to call. And this game, when Nader gets in the game, changes the entire dynamic of the game because now you have a kind of a loose cannon in there who is going to mix it up. Flop is 9-4-3, 2 diamonds, misses everybody. Rick is still in control of this pot. Now, Eric has the ace of diamonds in his hand. Sometimes you can look at that and go, well, maybe my ace is good, maybe my jack is good, and if a diamond comes, maybe I could represent because I know they don't have the nut flush draw.
Right. That's about the only hand out there.
Yeah, nothing else. Everybody else is going to fold here.
Very good at my job.
I hope that helps. Obviously, if you're another thing, obviously you're playing probably a little bigger than you should. When you're building a bankroll, you really want to start small. I mean, for me, first time I played 3-6 limit, and my bankroll was like $600. And after about 6 weeks of playing that, I built up my bankroll to say $1,500, and I stepped it up a little bit, and I played 4-8 hold'em, and then I built up my bankroll a little more up to $2,500. And that's pretty much what you do. You just start adding a little bit to it here and there.
Yeah, and Jason wants to play no limit. It says
right. Same. I mean,
and
that's
the
the same
lowest
difference.
no limit that he has. But I think you might play more conservatively, and you're going to get your share of beats.
In the beginning, you might want to play it a little more conservative, like you said.
Right.
Button moves over to seat number 1, and Eric's going to raise another button. He's got King Jack offsuit. Seat 2, Kurt has been pretty solid all night, and he's going to call this with pocket 4s. That's a hand I don't mind getting involved with out of position. If you're deep enough, that is. 4 ways. And there's the flop, Queen 9-8. Seat number 5, Kunal's got top pair. Tough for him to know where he's at, though. And that flop is actually Queen 9-9, sorry.
I've never played with him, but today was my first
Rainbow.
game, so.
Eric has a gut shot plus the overcard. And he bets $75. It checks around to him. And Kunal's in a tough spot now by not betting into the razor with top pair. Now he's put in a spot where do you want to just call, and he's going to call here. Now his hand is weak enough where sometimes I like to play it this way where it's a little stop and go. I will check call and now lead on the turn. But look at that. Eric has now made a straight. 10 of spades on the river on the turn.
Right.
And Eric hits his gut shot.
Exactly
and
what
Kunal's
he's going
got
for.
Yeah, Kunal now has a higher two pair. Kunal can beat ace queen, but he cannot beat king jack. And at this point, if you hope Kunal's got a 9, you just got to think of what might the 9 be paired with. Does he have a full house ready with 9-10, or maybe he has 9-8? Who knows where he's at?
Right. And that's the problem when you said he doesn't have enough information about the hand.
Yeah. And Kunal's going to move all in, and I think Eric's going to have to call this. Wow, and Kunal moves all in for $360. Eric immediately calls, and this pot is over $1,000. The river is a deuce of clubs, and Kunal does not fill up, and Eric's going to take down about a $1,000 pot. Kunal needed a queen, a 9, or a 10 to win that. And it did not come. Okay, let's see. I got a bunch of emails. I'm going to try to rattle through them here.
Anthony?
Let's see here. We got Bart in the Omaha event. Here, once again here. Do you know where Bart is in the Omaha event? I just checked card player, and they're down to 59. And Bart is not on the list. That's not necessarily true. They might not be down to 59 people. They might just showing you 59 left. I would doubt if they're down to 59 already. It's pretty quick. They were down to 200 like an hour and a half ago. Yeah, so I don't think it's quite there.
I think they're just putting on names.
They only put the big names there.
Yeah. Bart's a big name.
Hey, Dave, your solo play-by-play commentary is vastly improved. Go, Bart, your pal in Dallas, Rick. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate that. Got a nice email from Rob Rosenberger. We got a raise here out of John at ace-king, and he's hit his ace. Now, nobody has a queen. The flop is ace, queen, queen, 2 hearts. 3 ways, $75 pot. And John's going to bet. And I don't think anybody's going to get involved here. Eric's smart enough to get rid of 8s here, and obviously that's not the flop you're looking for at 5-7, so I'm going to continue with the emails. Rob Rosenberger says, I've watched the free shows for a while, and I've really gained insight into the game. So I called my cable company, and he said, quote, unquote, hey, can I pay $14.95 for a poker channel? They, of course, said, what poker channel? And I said, oh, that's what I thought. So I'll be watching when you go to subscriptions. Best to everyone. Thanks a lot, Rob. Appreciate it. Jason Whitmore, nice email here. Hey, David, nice to hear you solo for a change. I enjoy your commentary. P.S. Whatever happened to Diablo and Jesus? Man, those guys were always entertaining to watch. Well, Diablo is actually in the house. And
we played a couple tournaments with Diablo in Caesar's Palace.
He's actually announced he's playing the 5-10 game right now. And Jesus, once in a while, will make an appearance and play the 10-20 game, but he does play that. He loves playing the Mexican poker, no-limit Mexican poker.
What's going on over there?
Okay, Adam Wagner says, well, since you're politically incorrect and you don't want to offend women, why don't you say they're playing like an Asian man, a Republican, or a cripple? Please do not use my last name if you read this email. Sorry, man, I'm too late. You got to do that in the subject. I read that. It's way too late. Please do not read my last name if you read this email online, as I don't want to be strangled in my sleep by an Asian Republican cripple.
We could put his cell phone number online.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Adam. There you go. Here. Email from Tony T. Says, hey, Dave, what about playing like a wuss, quote unquote, instead of like a girl? Okay. Keep that in mind. I like the Asian Republican cripple.
Well, it's like Bobby Balon saying, and you folded like a little girl, and Jennifer Harmon sitting on the other side of the bed. He goes, no offense to you.
Right. Hey, when it comes to Jennifer Harmon, though, jeez. I swear, I mean, Jennifer Harmon, you know what? I don't think she's that good looking, but she's hot because of the way she plays.
Yeah.
She's just, I think she's something.
She's an outstanding player.
Oh, she's amazing here.
Gender aside.
By the way, all the money was in here. Nader moved it all in. He had like $40 left. Eric called him with King Jack. Did not get there. Nader's going to double through. Win himself about a $90 pot.
Straight on the board.
You don't get nothing.
Oh, wow, it is. That's classic. And they chop it up. That's sad.
Beautiful.
Okay, here, Rob Rosenberger says,
I'm going to play the board, too. I want 1/3 of that pot.
here you go. He says, another word for girly. He said, try pansy, or spineless, or feeble, or jellyfish. As in, this guy bets like a jellyfish. He's feeble. I could actually say, you know what would be great? I could say, this guy's playing it like he's Ronnie.
Card Boy's on fire tonight. I see him cranking in cards. Have we had anything less than a 6-way pot tonight?
Now we get a raise here from Jennifer, an early position. Now, okay, you haven't even looked at Jennifer's cards yet, but Jennifer is raising an early position. What might she have?
A monster.
I mean, ace king minimum,
Right.
pocket jacks minimum, and she's
Minimum.
got kings. There you go. But still, Art is going to call her with queen 6, and Nader's going to call with ace 10. Actually, I'm sorry, Nader's moved all in for how much more? How much more has Nader moved in for?
65.
He's moved in for 70, and that's going to reopen the betting, and I think Jennifer's moved all in. Verbally said it, which is not allowed on Live the Bike, so I'm going to have to spank her.
She win?
Again?
Give her the check.
Dave, didn't you do that before the show?
Nah, I wish. Wow, well, I think she's good. Jennifer's flopped quads. Yeah, she's probably going to win this pot. And she takes down what is about a $140 pot with quad kings. Not bad.
Oh, we had a chance.
Here we go. Email here from Tony Lucan. He says, hey, Dave, it's not a girly bet. It's a donkish bet. A bet usually on the river that possesses the qualities of a donkey. Okay. Like that.
I was reading a 2+2 post earlier today. They have poker phrases that you hate. There's a thread out there somewhere.
Okay.
And they cover most
All of them? Okay, this is a good one here. Jay Holman, he goes, hey, how about sissy-ass bitch bet that only a ballless, cross-dressing, scared, abused puppy would make? Or something like that.
I've used that before.
I tell you, we have some
That's not original.
creative viewers.
I got a T-shirt with that phrase on there, I think.
Okay, well, the first answer to the quiz question, I'm not sure if it's right or not, is from Steve Marzalakowski.
Marzalakowski.
Okay, good. And he said the answer is 3.
Incorrect.
Incorrect. Thank you, Steve.
But you were the first responder.
You were the first one. The next one is from R. French, and his answer is?
4, and he's going in the wrong direction.
Go wrong direction. Okay, Jason Menendez. Well, maybe you can add to his, you can help out his bankroll here.
Yes.
By $14.95 if he gets it right. And the answer is?
The answer is 0.
And is he?
And that is correct.
That is correct.
Yes.
Wow. So Jason Menendez, breakaway.
Is now increased his bankroll by $14.95.
There you go.
Jason, make sure you send in. I'll get your email address. I'll connect with you.
Now look at this. Seat number 7, John has raised it up out of the small blind with 3-5. Rick throws away ace queen like it's nothing out of the big blind, and I like the play. Because you got to realize now, obviously in this case, he doesn't know what John has. But if John, who's played it pretty tight, pretty close to the vest, is raising out of the small blind, I got to realize that my ace queen is probably dominating.
Right.
Now he hits the ace, but Rick would have no idea where he's at here. Could this guy have pocket jacks? Could he have ace king? Who knows? Now, lucky for him, nobody really has much. Nader's got a jack, and, well, that might be enough for Nader to go in. Oh, and he does. Look at that.
250.
Are you kidding me? Nader's just here to gamble.
Wow.
Ed was here last night.
Now, John has made a continuation bet of about $80, and Nader moves all in for $250. And obviously, John cannot call. He's going to posture here, though. He doesn't want to just throw it away right away. Kind of posture like maybe he has pocket kings or something like that. And then reluctantly toss it in the muck.
I'll tell you what, the tight potato would have dumped Jack 6.
Probably, yeah. Okay, so what is now the question once again is what is the optimal number of opponents in a hand in a hold'em hand?
Right. A lot of people.
Now the answer is 0. Why is the answer 0?
Yeah. A lot of people guess 1 because you want to be heads up, and that's actually the second best answer. But optimally, you want your opponent to lay it down. That way, there's 0% of you losing the hand, and you may get less chips, but 0%.
You'll never lose.
Right. And if you're playing in a tournament and you get everybody to fold to you, even if it's just your big blind,
You'll never get knocked out.
Yeah, you'll win the tournament. Now, it won't happen that way, but
But you'll never, yeah, exactly. You'll never get knocked out, and you will win the tournament.
Right. And Phil Gordon is one that brought that up to me, and it's just an interesting question.
There you go.
Congratulations, Jason.
And unfortunately, we got a flood of other emails here. Oh, chip count here, $6,000. I was in the middle of talking. God. Eric with $1,400. John with $1,300. Art bringing up the rear at $200. Let's see how they're doing. John up a quick $1,000, pretty much in that one hand. Eric up $900. That's a nice payday for this game. Nader down $500. Scott down $4, and Art down $3. We'll keep track of this for the next hour and a half.
Pajato's down $15.
Don't worry, we'll use it.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, will we now?
Haven't even played a hand.
Now, the next correct answer, by the way, was from Adam Wagner. And he had 0, but unfortunately he was approximately, well, they were both posted
Seconds away.
seconds after Jason put it in there.
And Adam doesn't want his last name revealed, so too late.
Yeah.
But you did. You got it right.
Do appreciate everybody emailing in, and we're going to do sort of like fun little promotions like that every once in a while, especially when it's on Potato's dime.
Sure. If there's anything else I can do to clog up your email like I did just now, I'd be happy to do that.
Oh, and I have a great promotion for tomorrow. If anybody wants to win $500, just listen on for a couple minutes.
I could do that.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Are you eligible? Yeah, I guess well, friends and family are not eligible. But you're not really a friend. You're more like a potato. Set of 5s here for Scott.
If you heard some of the things I've said about you, I'm not a friend.
A set of 5s for Scott. Now, Rick throws away King 8. Unfortunately for Scott, the wrong player had top pair. Because if Nader has top pair or Art has top pair, he probably doubles through him. But because Rick had it, though, Rick easily throws away King 8. Obviously not the flop you're looking for with King 8. I don't even think he would have been in there, except the fact that he was in the small blinds. But Art is going to call with his gut shot. Now, his gut shot is good. If a 4 comes, he is good. Nader's going to get out, and we're going to see it heads up here. The turn is a 7. Changes nothing. Art still needs a 4 and only a 4. And Scott has got a set. And how is the action going to go? Now, Art is thinking of what to do here. He's only got about 150 left.
75.
And if you're Scott, well, you know what? I like the bet. I really do. You bet $75. You could even bet $100. You're building yourself a pot.
Right, you're giving him something that he can call, although he shouldn't. But
Exactly.
he can call.
Clearly making a mistake to call this. Even if he has a flush draw, he's making a mistake. The pot is not big enough to call with one card to come. But you're enticing that call. River would have been the ace of clubs and would not have changed anything. So once again, if you are interested in winning $500, no strings attached, just listen on. You'll have to watch tomorrow night's show, which starts at 7 p.m. Pacific time. You don't even know about this promotion, do you?
I do not.
Are you excited?
I am excited.
You got that
$500
tingly
bucks?
feeling inside?
Sure, you got my interest.
Button moves over to seat number 8.
If you'd like to lose $500 tomorrow, you can always come here for the tournament, $100 unlimited rebuys for the first hour.
I could easily have 4 rebuys. Easily. Interesting hands out there, a lot of Broadway. We got Ace Jack out there. We've got King Queen out there. We've got King Jack out there. And we're seeing a lot of limping.
We've seen a lot of limping tonight.
New player in seat number 5. Kunal no longer in the game. And there's the king, and you wonder that's actually not Kunal in seat 5. That is a different gentleman. Doesn't look like Kunal at all, does he? That is Scott, seat 5. I've played with him numerous times. He's actually one of those escargot guys, snail guys. And Scott is going to raise it up with King Queen here. Now Jennifer's put out a little kind of like, let me see where I'm at, bet. She puts $20 out there with King Jack. And I think she's good enough to get away from this. I really do. It's a limped around pot. And she easily throws it away. Mama always said, don't go broke in an unraised pot. Okay, so the promotion is, watch tomorrow night. Sometime between 6:30 and 7:30. On the left-hand side of the screen, probably, there will be a poll question. The question will say, who will be the big winner in tonight's game? Obviously, we will have the 9 names there, okay? You will click on the name, and that will bring you to a new spot. where you will then say how much they will win. Whoever picks the person right and guesses how much they will win, whoever is the closest, will win $500 cash tomorrow. No strings attached. Now, the poll will be up at 6:30, and we are going to close it at 7:30. So don't get there at 7:32 and then whine. At 7:30, it's closed. And what we're going to do is at 9:30, we're going to assume that basically the game is over at 9:30. And then at 9:30, we are going to tally it up, and we are going to figure out who is the closest and who wins. And I will announce it at 10 when the show ends tomorrow night. So if you feel like winning $500, you know, hey, if $500 would feel good in your pocket, let me know. And just watch the show tomorrow night and just click on it at liveatthebike.com.
I'm only good at picking losers from my horse racing days, so this is going to be a new test for me.
Now we got an interesting flop here. We got King, Queen, 6, couple of spades out there. Jennifer's got top pair, and she's going to bet on the button. And I'm sorry, Art is not even in there. Art threw it away. Now Nader's got second pair, no kicker, no spades. I mean, this is the kind of hand you want calling you. You know, some people say, now I know you say the optimal number of players is 0.
Right.
But I want Nader in the hand versus me in this one.
Yes, you do. In this case, you do.
Once again, the gentleman in the booth with me right now is none other than Jay Siegel. He is Potato on 2+2. We like to call him the potato of Live at the Bike. Here he is. He's not looking. Wait for everybody.
I'm watching. I'm looking at 2+2, reading the post right now. I got
Yeah.
caught. And I want to shout out to 2+2ers.
This is not a good sign. I'm reading something from Bart Hansen saying, hey, guys, just got back to my place. That's not usually a good sign,
Right, right.
unfortunately.
Do not pass go. Do not collect 200.
Damn. Too bad. Maybe if you can hear us, though. I said, Bart, maybe you can repeat what you said. Bart, you should head back to the Rio and see if Phil wins the event, see if he'll give you $5,000 back.
Yeah, Bart, give me a call. Call in here.
We're gonna see
I
this-
got an idea.
Well, we got a raise at it from Kurt here. He's going to raise out of the blind. Art is not going to get involved, but that's not going to stop Nader. Nader's going to call with a suited king, King 10. That's going to get Eric out, though. And we're going to see a pot that's about $70. Heads up. Well, there's the 10, and is that enough to get Nader involved? Flop is 10-9-3. He's got top pair with a king kicker. I don't think Nader's going anywhere, and look at that. He moves in all the way, right away. And it's an easy call for Kurt, isn't it? I mean, the way you've seen Nader play.
Right.
Normally, it's not an easy call, especially with a flop like that, because you got to start thinking. I think the board is way too draw heavy here. Nader could easily be doing this with, say, ace queen of hearts, ace king of hearts.
Right.
Jack,
If I'm
queen.
Kurt, that's where I'm putting.
Yeah,
That's where I'm
he could even do it with ace 5 of hearts. I mean, there's a lot of hands he could have here. And in this case, you know, he's got top pair, king kicker. He's got 5 outs to the win. That's not one of them. He needs a 10 or a king, and that's it. And actually, it comes runner straight for Kurt, and Kurt ends up making a jack high straight and is going to win it. And he wins himself what ends up being about a $650 pot. And is Nader going to rebuy? And the funny thing is, I played with Nader in the bigger games, and he plays it like grizzly tight. I mean, you literally need a crowbar to, like, pull apart his ass. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Right.
But in this game, he's, you know, mixing it up like it's nothing. Button moves over to seat number 2. So how's that for promotion? All you got to do is guess who is going to be the big winner tomorrow night,
And how
and
much.
guess how much they're going to win by, and you win $500 cash.
I'm going for it.
That's all you got to do.
Can't say the same.
How easy is that?
I like it.
Are you kidding me? I'm going to call all my friends I know back in New York and stuff and just tell them.
We've been through this before. I have no friends.
Yeah.
Well, none that I don't owe money to.
Well, Nader is rebought for another $400. And he has really added a new element to this game. I want to thank you for joining us tonight. This was great.
I appreciate
Nice
it.
surprise. Jack 8-3. Scott with top pair.
Maybe.
So what do you think of the play at this table?
Not sure.
Obviously, I want to continue in the way of politically incorrect live at the bike. I mean, how would you? Is there a player at this table? If you were sitting down at this table, is there a player that you necessarily would avoid?
Well, and I played against that's Jennifer, right? And
Yes.
I played with Jennifer. And
Scott's going to bet with his jack, by the way, and I don't think anybody's going to call. Nobody does.
when she's
Scott
got
does.
money in the pot,
Oh, he said
I usually back down.
Right.
And the other players, not that familiar with, but there is some. I mean, you're going to get action here, so I would feel real good about getting my money in with medium to good strength hands, and
Right,
know
right.
that I'm going to get called.
And are there players you'd be targeting? I mean, obviously, we always talk about no limit hold'em. It's a game where you can actually pick your opponents.
Right.
You don't have to mix it up. I mean, I have laid down Ace King in the big blind against, say, Paul, the seasoned turkey,
Right, right.
because I don't need to mix it up with him heads up with a hand that's so easily seen. I mean, it's just not, it's not disguised at all. I'm not going to make any money off him with that hand.
Right.
So I throw it away. But there are players that I target, say as an Allen. You know what I mean?
Right,
Somebody
right.
like that. Is there a player
Well,
this year that
Nader,
you might
Nader's
target?
got my vote for getting money from him.
Nader's got your vote. Go
Yeah.
Green Party. We're going green here at Live at the Bike. 3 on the turn. Changes nothing. Scott still the best hand here with King 10. But Art's going to bet it again. He's got a gut shot straight draw, and that's going to be enough to take it down.
Yeah, see, Art's another one where money in the pot doesn't necessarily.
Mean much.
Yeah.
Here it
Although
is.
they're not seeing what we're seeing.
And they're talking about the Tour de France here. Jaff 911 goes, isn't the green shirt for the mountain leader? Or is that the polka dot? I think it's yellow. No, it's polka dot. I have no idea. I never watched Tour. He says, you'd figure a soccer geek like Tuck would be all over cycling. And I got to tell you, the only person here that's cycling fanatic, that's Isaac. Our director, obviously. I have no idea. Tour de France, I honestly would rather watch pretty much anything. Pretty much anything.
I watch curling until I can figure out what the object of the game is, and I've still been watching
You're
it.
still watching it, huh? Nader's going to raise it up here with a weak ace on the button. He makes it $40 to go. And he's not going to get called. And here we go. Breakaway 7 goes, my God, they play like this three-way all-in, and we're talking about obviously the hand there was ace-king versus king-queen versus ace-10, and he's having trouble with his bankroll. How is this? Well, maybe you're not picking the right game.
Yeah, breakaway, come on down, play in this game.
You know, one of the things I can say also, you say you're a dealer, and that's the only game you can play in. There's got to be an easier game in the casino. If that game's not easy, learn a different game. Play something else. Play limit hold'em. Play 2-4 limit hold'em. Play 3-6 limit hold'em. You've got to realize, it's funny, when I talk to some really good poker players, I go, what is your favorite game? They go, I don't have a favorite game. I have a favorite lineup.
Yeah,
I look
yeah.
for lineups. I don't look for game.
That's game selection. And,
Yeah, it's huge. It's
hold
very
game, bro.
important, you know? And if the one no-limit game is a tough game, well, then pick a different one.
If he's a dealer, he should have a home game and just make sure he deals himself the nuts. I don't see a problem with the bankroll there.
Button moves over to seat number 7. Rick is the small blind, $5. Once again, we're playing this no-limit game, 5-5 blinds. This is a 300 to 500 restricted buying game. But as of now, this game's already been going on for about 2.5 hours, and the game is a lot deeper.
What I like to do when I'm just sitting down at the tables, I like to see how people respond to the button and the blinds, and if they're betting, and at least give me a pretty immediate read on how are they playing.
Okay.
And if are they raising their blinds? Are they, did
So
it
if
pull-
you sit down at the table where you're not familiar with the players,
Right.
that's how you start to kind of figure out if they're good or not. Or
Right, and that's typical in tournaments where you get the draw, and you see, if it folds to everybody on the button and he folds, then he's a certain type of player, and that's the beginning, and that's how to get.
Interesting flop here. Jennifer's flop 2 pair, bottom 2. She can't be that comfortable with it. It's a 5-4-3 board. And she's going to, Rick is going to bet it with top pair. She's going to raise right away, kind of see where she's at.
I like that raise.
Well, it's a tough handage to call. Because if you just call, you might get players with 7s in there, you might get 6s in there, you might get aces in there. You never know. And you know what? Rick's not going to get involved. He throws it away right away. Take it down, Jennifer.
Good move.
Hey, so is there any truth? I know you put an investigation on Bart's missing $5,000, some sort of Asian.
Yeah, some type of escort. We come to your room or something like that.
Any news on the investigation?
No, I haven't heard back.
No, okay.
The guys that are tailing Bart are not happy about their duty. It's kind of boring. So. They did make sure he got at the same table as Shirley. So trailing her, too.
Great news about Shirley, by the way. Wow, nice stack there from Greek Poker God.
He's doing his Carlos Mortensen
Oh, that would be
impression.
hysterical. Somebody knock him over.
15.
Oh, I would go over there and just knock him over in a second. I would laugh my ass off. I'd give you $5. Go ahead, Donna.
Dave, I think the offer is $14.95 these days.
$14.95.
That's the minimum offer.
Is that
of
okay? You
anything.
set a precedent?
Yeah.
That's too rich for me. That's,
Oh, good
that's
news?
3 hours of work.
You
What?
said good news for Shirley?
Well, no, I think it's just great news. Obviously, anybody that's familiar with Live at the Bike, Shirley was one of our great commentators here for a while. She's battling breast cancer. And it's great news that, you know, she's still in the middle of treatments. It's great news that she's able to play in a tournament.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That she's had, I mean, I was talking to her about it, and she wasn't sure if she'd have the stamina to be able to play in the World Series at all. And I think it's just fabulous that she was able to get to Vegas and play.
Right. And
I'm so thrilled. I mean, the fact that whether she wins or not, who cares? She's a winner in that kind of regard that she's able to go out there and play.
Absolutely. I read her website yesterday, and she actually is very upbeat, and it's doing really well.
Yeah. Butt moves over to seat number 9. And apparently Marcel Lusk is out of the tournament. Phil Hellmuth is the chip leader. He's got him, Jeff Cabanillas, and Eugene Todd.
Eugene Todd is the one that knocked me out of the $1,500 no limit tournament when my ace queen ran into his aces. I couldn't believe he called with that crap.
That's funny. Chicken Tender, actually. It's a new Monopoly game now they're going to have for Bard. It's do not pass go, do not collect $5,000. Well, Nader's got top pair, and that's good enough to bet here. Now, nobody's got much of anything. I always talk about a flop like that. It's a good flop to really take a shot at.
Right.
Because if you get called, you know where you're at. There's no draw whatsoever. Sometimes people make the mistake of betting into a flop that's like 10, 9, 5 with 2 spades.
Right.
And you have no idea where your opponent's at when you bet, and they call you. Once again, I'm David Tuckman. I'm here with Jay Siegel. And we are watching No Limit Hold'em blinds are 5 and 5. We're playing with the yellow chips primarily. I don't really see much of anything. If you see big white chips, those are the $100 chips.
It's good to see the 2+ tours. Chicken Tender, JF 911.
And I will go over the new $500 promotion a little bit later in detail. But yes, we are giving away $500, no strings attached, tomorrow night.
Do you think Gene Todd will give me my $1,500 back if he
I think you
wins
should
this
ask him.
tournament?
You should definitely ask him.
They're looking at my play.
I think the funniest thing is, how's this, though?
That was a great play.
Bart lasted longer
Yeah.
in the July 4th No Limit event than I did in either one of the events I paid into.
Both of them combined,
Yeah,
probably.
actually, yeah, both of them combined. You're right. Thanks for pointing that out. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that is funny, but that's also something that tournament players have to understand. It's not whoever lasts longest. We have action here.
Yeah, we got it's interesting hand actually. The blinds are playing now. Rarely at this level do you see the blinds play. Anybody familiar with me knows that I do not chop, and I always play out of the blinds. And Kirk decided to play, and he's going to bet his ace queen here, and he's going to take it down. And he raised out of the small blind, got called by Art. Flop comes out, obviously 9-8, not a good flop for you there.
Right.
Even if a 10 were to come, it's no good. And Kurt takes it down. And one of the reasons why I never chop, and I don't like to, is, first off, I noticed that when I was playing tournaments, and it would fold around to me in the blinds, I would have no experience. I'd have no idea what to do.
Oh, right.
Secondly, I also realized that a lot of players take their blinds very personally. And if you decide to play them or raise their blinds, they almost take it as a personal affront.
Right.
And they go, okay, fine. You want to play? I'll play.
Right.
You know, and they end up going broke on a hand that they shouldn't have even played in the first place.
Yeah, if you're going to chop, then you should really take the policy of I'm going to chop it every time I have that. Just stay one stance or the other and stay with it, because the players do. They take it very personally. And some of them take it personally and it hurts you. Sometimes they take it personally and it helps you. But, it then becomes a different dynamic in the game if you chop a bunch of times and then decide not to, or vice versa. But one of the things in tournaments I was saying is, lasting longer is not really the indication of a better player or winning or doing it. I say everybody from the bubble all the way to the first person knocked out, everybody there is tied for last.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, and
It just feels like crap when you get knocked out right away, doesn't it?
Yeah, I've been knocked out on the third hand.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a tough drive home.
Well, exactly. You drive to the casino, you sit down, you play 3 hands, and you go, that was fun, and you drive home. Now, you're married. How do you deal with that when it's a matter of, 3 hands? So I've got to be honest. There have been a few times where I've gotten knocked out, let's say an hour into a tournament.
Yeah.
And I'll fudge it a little bit to my wife, and I'll say, oh, yeah, I got knocked out 3 hours in. I had pocket aces, hit a set, and this guy sucked out on me. What could I do? You know? Obviously, I've got to, make it sound better than it is. I don't lie to I never lie on my blog, and I never lie to our viewers, but wife is different. Do you tell your wife right away the truth? I mean, do you tell her I got knocked out 3 hands into
and
it?
she'll laugh at me. She did learn early on, though, and I learned early on, is that when I don't call and I don't show up, the later I am, the better off I'm doing in the tournament. And coming home at 2:30 in the morning with a brick full of hundreds is always helpful.
It's always welcome, that.
Yeah.
Now look at this. Nader never bet, and he let Art get there, and Art got there because the king on the river has beat him. I can't believe Nader didn't bet the turn.
I can't beat that one, so I can't go.
Now, were you ever involved with that escargot thing, that snail thing? It's kind of a poker forum.
Yeah, I've read about it and know it, but I've never.
They come here once in a while.
Yeah, they do a yearly tournament type of thing.
And Scott's one of the. We got a shot of Scott there in seat 5. One of the biggest snails I've ever seen. Look at him. So one big escargot guy. Wearing the full contact poker hat. That's Daniel Nagano's site, right?
Right. Full contact. Yep.
Yeah.
The jackpot hand would check all the way. I said, I never check all the way. Believe me, you don't want a job with me. You're going to see some betting if I have a hand.
But it is tough when you get knocked out third and you're driving home and you're still in rush hour traffic, which is what you just went through to get there. And you're driving back. Going, why did I get kings?
I mean, if I get knocked out right away, I'll normally take a break, go get a drink, and relax for a second, and then jump into a cash game. I mean,
see, once I get knocked out, I just feel bad, and I don't want anything to do with it. I want to leave. I want to go. Actually, my wife comes and plays some cash games while I'm on the tournament, and then I get knocked out, and I'm going, come on, let's go.
It's probably the smart way to go. I mean, it depends. Obviously, if you've been affected mentally, you probably should not play anymore. But if you're able to continue and go on and play.
Yeah.
I got knocked out about a month and a half ago. I played, actually probably more like 3 months ago. I got knocked out of a tournament. I want to say it was like a $500 or $1,000 tournament on a Sunday. And I got knocked out, and I was shit. I was like, you know what, though? I got my money at the best of it. What can I do?
Right.
So I went and played the 10-20 game, and lucky me, Corporation Mike and Alan just decided to show up on a Sunday.
Oh.
Well, I ended up booking about a $5,000 win that day.
Right.
And then I looked back I went back into the into the tournament room just to see what place I would have had to finish to make the same amount of money. And I would have had to finish in 5th place.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is easier.
Yeah, if you just bring Corporation Mike and Alan to every game you play, you'd be okay.
Get an email here from Dave. He says, hey, Tuck, is the live broadcast going subscription only? If so, can you share some details? Thanks, and I will share details in a second. Yes, it is.
Stop it.
Now, Eric is going to raise it up with 4s, and Scott is not going to put up with this anymore. He is re-raising with queens. Now, this is really a question of if you put your opponent on aces, kings, or queens, and you don't think they can get off it, it becomes a math question. Do I have enough implied odds to make this call with pocket 4s? Now, clearly, Scott does not have enough money. Now, Eric has plenty, but Scott doesn't.
Right. That's one of the things I picked up on Live at the Bike, is actually knowing my stack and my opponent's stack and going, do I have 10-fold, 9-fold?
Well, if you read this Sklansky Miller book, that's all I talk about, how important it is to know what your stack size is. And now look at this. Scott hits top full house, and he checks it. And I got to tell you, if somebody bets that much out of the blind and then checks to me, I put him specifically on queens full.
Right. I don't, because I'm too busy mucking my cards and running back to my car.
I mean, you've got to realize, and look, and Scott is going to check again, and he's going to get Eric to bite, and Eric puts in $100, and look at Scott. Oh, man, what do I do? Jeez, oh, poor me.
Yeah.
What do I do? Anybody, okay, if
Anybody does that and then raises.
Yeah. It's a clear physical tell.
It's about 110% accurate. Maybe 120 these days. I don't
That
know.
classic. Yeah, and Eric's easily going to fold. Isaac, you got to shoot over to the camera here. Shoot over to me here. If anybody ever goes, oh, man, jeez, wow. I raise. I've got the friggin' nuts, okay? Go, run away.
That kind of acting can only go with a crying call type move.
Yeah.
And at best. And but it's when they do that and say raise, then it's all over.
It's pretty much, yeah.
We saw it on TV.
And the guy raises out of the blind, and then he checks twice to you. It just becomes a little suspicious.
Yeah.
Like, what is he raising out of the blind with? Then the king comes in turn. What? That card didn't help him either. Okay.
They go, oh, there's no way he could have queens.
Buttons in seat number 5, small blind 5, big blind 5. Rick Nebbiolo is under the gun. Oh, by the way, Rick Nebbiolo smiled tonight. I swear, he smiled tonight.
Well, we're going to put that in our notes, aren't we?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Jennifer is going to raise an early position here. Now, this is indicative of Jennifer's play. She plays it so tight for about 2 hours. Everybody really respects her play, and now she starts to loosen it up. And here she's raising it up with King 10 of diamonds, and look at the respect she gets. Everybody folds.
Right, and that would be me. I would be folding.
Well, so would I.
Until I saw something
I would
different,
fold ace
but,
queen
yeah.
to her. I might call her with 6-7, but I'm not going to call her with ace queen. That's for sure.
Right.
And she takes down the dead money. Okay, so beginning July 12th, next Wednesday, we are switching to subscription only. Because everyone is right, this shit is too good to give away for free. What does that mean? Only subscribers will be able to watch the show in its entirety. All others will only get a preview of the show to come. In addition to our nightly games, we are ramping up the content and promotions by adding, such as tomorrow night's promotion, where we're giving away $500. We also have special promotions such as recent guest commentator promotion, where all subscribers as of July 11th are automatically registered for this drawing. Included with the guest commentator experience is 6 months of free subscription and $500 in cash to play in that night's game. Now, if you live out of town, the $500 can be used to fly out here, okay? We're also going to have more special guest appearances. To actually kick off our first night, we're going to have none other than Liz Liu here.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And it's probably going to be Liz Liu with Bart, unfortunately. But I might end up killing him, and maybe I'll be in here. Who knows?
Bart may be just trying to get words and syllables out.
Right, exactly. But wait, there's more. Special free rolls. In the next few weeks, we will be holding 2 $1,500 free rolls online for our subscribers. So for absolutely no money, you could end up winning the dough it takes to pay for the subscription for an entire year. Okay?
All right, I'm in.
And we're going to be sending out emails to every subscriber with further details. I know right now paying for the subscription can be somewhat of a pain because I know we don't take NetTeller, but that is going to be changing very soon, and maybe we'll even go to PayPal as well. So we'll make it as easy as possible for you.
What about traveler's checks or gold bullion? Is that?
I'll take gold.
Okay.
So there's special promotions, free rolls, guest commentators, on top of our lively action and expert commentary guaranteed to improve your game, and unlimited access to our archives of over 1,500 hours of poker content. All this for the ridiculously low price of $14.95 per month.
No, too much work.
I mean, I got to tell you, if you are willing, I'd probably buy one new poker book a month.
Yes.
Not necessarily because the poker book is very good, but oftentimes I'd like to know what everybody else is reading.
Mm-hmm.
Now, sometimes I find a gem, like I found Phil Gordon's Little Green Book. I love it. I'm going to go buy my own copy. It's great. But I'd like to read as many books as possible. And to me, it's kind of like I'm putting $25, $30 into my game every month. And even if the book only teaches me one thing, it's definitely going to be worth the $30 I spent on it.
Sure.
And that's kind of like how I look at our subscription. I mean, I think we probably make people back $14.95 very easily.
Sure. It's one bet. It's one bet in one hand per month.
Now, John has raised it up here with ace-9. He made it $60 to go, kind of a big raise after a bunch of limpers. And Nader has called the deuces. Now, Nader still has the best hand, but how does he know?
Right.
Really tough spot to be in out of position. John has got the old cigar look going on. He just looks cool, doesn't he?
That is a cool look.
That's a really great look. Gotta love that. I mean, yeah, I was going to say he actually looks like Gandalf. With a cigar, though.
All right. Not scared to put the chips in, not scared to take the pot down.
And he takes it down. Uses power of position. Why not? Representing the big hand. When he gets checked to you, take it down.
Yeah. If you're going to get this Phil Gordon's Little Green Book, one of the things you can do, I think you go to his website, which is Expert Insight, and if you donate something like $50 to cancerprevention.org, then he sends you a book signed.
Oh, that's great. I didn't know that.
So it costs a little more, but all of it goes to charity. And
I'm actually going to definitely do that then. I will definitely do that. I mean, cancer is, it's funny, cancer is the one disease that if you, I mean, I think if you, I don't know anybody that hasn't been touched by cancer in some way or another. Whether it be, a friend,
right.
Whether you have a relative, whether you have a relative who has a friend, I mean, whatever it is, it's almost touched everybody. If Phil Gordon is going to go out there and try to make it easier to get some, donations and charity.
Right. And he says he assures me that money will be used.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't need the money, obviously.
In the charity, and some other ones don't. They use a portion of it.
Now Eric's going to bet here. He has got. He actually has two pairs. He's got 4-9. He's got top and bottom. And we're going to get a raise here from Scott. Scott's got pocket tens. Now this was limped around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ways. I mean, I got to tell you, if it gets limped around 8 ways, my pocket tens, I want a 10 or nothing.
Right. You're flopping a set or you're...
I mean, this is like 3-6 hold'em. You got to realize there's a likelihood that somebody probably does have 2 pair. What the heck are tens? Now, obviously, I mean, if you're Eric here, you got to start being a little worried, but you got to start thinking about it, though. Scott voluntarily entered this pot. Okay?
Right.
So if he has 2 pair, he probably has 5-4. Probably doesn't have 9-5 or 9-4, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to start putting him on a hand. Well, the likelihood is he doesn't have a set of 9s or a set of 4s because I have a 9 and a 4.
Right.
So I got to start thinking, okay, does this guy have a 9 only? And in that case, I'm ahead. Does he have maybe big spades? Okay, I'm still ahead. Does he have 6-7? I'm still ahead. I mean, there's really only one hand I'm scared of right now, and that's pocket 5s.
Right.
And I like
which is a viable hand, but it's the only one.
It definitely is. Out of all those hands,
right.
though, it's the only one I'm behind to. And I got to tell you, if I'm Eric, I'm going to re-raise, and that's what Eric did. Nice play by Eric.
Right.
I thought maybe the shirt would cloud his judgment, but no. He's getting past it.
You got it, man. I go all in.
Wow, and Scott has moved all in. And I got to tell you, I hate this play by Scott. I really do. Hate the play by Scott. I think he's overcommitted with an overpair. And I got to tell you, in a no-limit game, it's not completely crazy for somebody to have pocket jacks in this case.
Right.
You know what I mean? You probably wouldn't put him on kings or aces, but jacks or queens, why not? A lot of players like to limp around and not raise in a pre-flop. Now, he was in the big blind, so queens probably unlikely, but jacks maybe.
Right. Jacks are probably the edge of the envelope.
But this guy's in the big blind. He could have anything. He could easily have 2 pair. I just don't understand. Now, he bets into the field. You raise. He re-raises. He is telling you that 1 pair is not good.
Right. As simple as that. 1 pair is not good.
No.
I don't care what your pair is.
It's not good.
Right.
Now, obviously, if Scott were to have, say, ace-9 of spades, something like that, or jack-9 of spades,
right.
Well, then he'd have a lot more outs. But in this case, he's just got a pair of 10s. He needs a 10 or a 5 to come off.
Right.
They cannot make a deal. This is a 5-5 game.
Right. And if he knew 1 pair wasn't good, then really he's got he thinks he has 2 outs. He would have 2 outs. But he
now they're talking about
ahead,
running the turn and river more than once, but they're not allowed to. Now they can always kind of do it, like they can just tell dealer to drop the card deck. Sometimes people do that. They say just drop it and don't worry about it. Now he can pick up a spade though. He has picked up a spade draw.
Right.
And look at that! Wow, running spades, and he's going to win it with the 10 high flush.
That's fine.
Of course it's fine.
Of course it's fine. I took it all
That's
down.
classic. That's fine. After I make my runner flush. That's hysterical. And I got to tell you, I mean, Scott got lucky there, but you got to look at it and go,
That's right.
You can't go broke in an unraised pot. Pocket 10s, I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah, that's where you got to come back and you got to look at your decisions. And
He only had like $60 in the pot. He had 400 more.
Right.
You know, it's not like he raised it 200 and he only had 200 more. It's not like half his money was in there. I don't understand. And here we go. Okay. Get an email here from Ren Diamond out of Richmond, Virginia. He said he was talking about, you actually mentioned you size up players by how they play the button in the blinds. Can you explain how a good player might play the button in their blinds as opposed to a weak player?
Oh, I won't be able to pick out the good players through that. What I'm looking to do is I'm looking to size up people right away, and I'll see how they play that. And weak players are very, I mean, like I said, how they they'll fold. They'll fold in the small blind. They'll fold the button if it's folded to them. And those are weak players.
You mean weaker passive players?
Yes, weak passive players. And then I'll put that. That's how I see them in the very early stages of a tournament, or the early stages of a cash game. With good players, you have to now. You can't do that with the blinds. You have to now look at how they're playing the hands and all the general things they do. But what I try and do is it's very important to size up the players very quickly in a tournament, and that's one of the ways to identify that. But it's a good point that he makes, is that it's not like you can size up everybody that way.
Of course not. Yeah, it's difficult, obviously. And Nebbiolo here, Rick Nebbiolo in seat number 8, he raised it up in the cutoff seat, got called in 3 spots. And he hit really a great flop for him. I mean, it's completely missed everybody else. He has top pair, plus he's got the open-ended straight draw. And it's a rainbow board. And I assume his bet will take it down. One of the things I like to look for is if I'm playing in a game. Now, I know a lot of times, obviously, when you're in a tournament, you really have to quickly size up your opposition.
Right.
Now, sometimes if I'm in a cash game, though, I will see how people play in the small blinds.
Mm-hmm.
And if I see somebody not automatically completing, I give them a little bit of credit as, oh, they don't want to play a crappy hand out of position. So I'll start giving them a little bit more credit, where if you see like an action freak who would never possibly fold the small blind if it was limped around.
Right.
You know, now in this game, obviously the blinds are both 5-5, but in the bigger game where the blinds are 5-10 or 10-20, you see some players always tossing in that extra $10 or extra $5.
Right. Yeah, and in a cash game, you have more time to figure them out.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is one of the things. I'll size up somebody that's weak right away, but I often change my mind later on when I find out they're doing something. But it's a thing of how quickly can you understand your table.
It was funny. I mean, we got a raise here out of seat number 7. John made it $40 to go with Queen Jack. Sorry. Now Scott has got him dominated, but he doesn't have position, and that's not a hand I'm going to be calling out of position with. Now this is one of those cases where he has him dominated. But I don't like the play. I really don't.
Right. Out of position.
I mean, what are you looking to hit here, really, with ace-jack offsuit?
Yeah, you're going to be scared of everything.
Okay,
Except the royal flush.
That's pretty good here. Now, obviously, I was going to say, anytime you can flop 2 pair, you're pretty excited.
Okay.
But let's say just the ace comes off. How do you know if you're good? If just the jack comes off, how do you know if you're good?
Right.
And you know what? Scott's going to do the old check raise here. He checks it over to John. John bets $100 into about a $100 pot. Nader calls, and not surprisingly, Scott's going to raise it and make it 200 more. So this pot is quickly $500, 200 to call, and I am assuming John will fold, and I'm assuming Nader's going to get out as well, unless Nader moves it all in because the pot's too big.
Yeah.
And he's drawing. I mean, he's in terrible shape. He needs running spades
right.
or a 7. And this is a pretty easy laydown if you're John. I mean, you got to remember, Scott is not just check raising 1 player; he's check raising 2 players, showing a lot of strength there.
I'll tell you, when you get to see all the cards, I go back to my original saying of, if I could see all the cards in a game, I would only lose half as much. I can't believe how wrong I could be, even seeing all the cards.
And Nader's just really, I mean, it's just a matter of do I want to gamble or not? That's all it really comes down to. Now, if he knew what Scott had here, he'd realize how bad he is in shape, what shape he's in. He needs a 7 or running spades or running queens or
right.
something like that.
Well, even if Scott just had the ace. Wow, it's still a gamble.
And he's going to gamble here. The pot is going to be about $800. And he just says, you know what, maybe I'll get lucky. And once again, they're not going to run this more than once. We don't allow it in the smaller games. Queen 7. And there's the 7. Oh, my. You got to be kidding me. What a suck out. I mean, that is such a bad call. And he gets there anyway. And Scott shrugs. And you know what? There's not much he can do. He just shrugs and goes, well, I sucked out on you.
Yeah.
He sucks out on me. Does anybody ever win with the best hand? Unbelievable.
If this were an online site, we would have emails coming up to Greg.
That's unreal. I mean, the table's got to be excited that Nader's got $800 in front of him.
Sure. Sure, that's money to be had. We are missing about half a dozen Bart, Are You Kidding Me?
Yeah,
phrases
unreal.
tonight.
I got to hand it to Bart, though. I got to tell you, if I made the same mistake he made, you know, that
Yeah.
Rio made, I probably would not have been able to play in today's event.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing, too, is that both of us are married, so we would have to answer for that $5,000 mistake as well.
I wouldn't tell her. There's no chance I'd tell her. There's no chance.
I have to get you, you know.
Luckily for me, I run the financial department of our household. She
Michelle-
runs everything else.
Yeah.
And she's in charge of everything else, but I run the finances.
Michelle, I would tell you. And then next week, sometime we talk again. And
I
would
actually
apologize.
said my wife would be really cool about it at first because she'd realize how upset
yeah,
I
that's
was.
what you said yesterday. Yeah.
I mean, what is she going to do? You know, she's going to pour salt on the wound. I mean, she knows obviously it was a mistake. I mean, I would assume,
Right.
3-4 weeks down the line, she would probably needle me about it. Actually,
Yeah.
probably 3 or 4 years down the line, she'd needle me about it. But Jennifer's going to raise it up with Ace Queen, and nobody's going to get involved with her.
that,
And now, you know what's funny here?
till
You
death do you
you
part.
kind of have an image like Jennifer, where after a while, nobody messes with you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was going to say, now, in a tournament, obviously, that's a pretty good image to have because tournaments
Right.
kind of,
It's blind stealing.
yeah,
And
and
you get
tournaments
the-
kind of invoke action anyway. Action
Right.
is forced. But in the cash game, do you ever notice that you just don't get enough action?
Yes. Yes, I do. And that's one of the problems.
It's tough
with
to
my
make
game.
money.
I have to, yeah, because I'm okay with, I can now, once I realize everybody's giving me respect, I can now raise with lesser hands and pull it down. But what I can't do is I can't play my big hand. I can't make any money on my big hands. So I have to learn somewhere down the line to start showing that I'm giving action again and try and
Yeah, I
break
mean,
down
I
that.
got to be honest. I mean, let's say I have Ace King, right? The flop comes out Ace 5, Ace 7 deuce, right?
Right.
And I bet, and you call, okay? Now on the turn, I bet and you raise me.
Yeah.
My Ace King is in the
You're-
muck.
yeah, you're done.
Now I'm giving you
Right.
the opportunity. You can bluff me.
Right.
But until you show me a bluff, I'm never going to pay you off.
Yeah, and that's what I have to. I have to get those bluffs out there because I have to change that image because I can exploit it the other way, and it helps in tournaments as long as your table stays together.
Interesting hand here, Scott. Scott has in seat 5. He's got top pair, queen kicker. Art has got the
Flush draw.
the
Nut
flush draw. He's got the nut flush draw, right? Nader's going to step out of there with pocket nines. He's probably going to play it a little more conservative now that he's got $800 in front of him. The turn is a stymie right away,
Art hits.
and Scott is drawing dead. And I got to tell you, sometimes in a cash game, depending on how deep you are, you might actually take the free. You might actually check behind him. But in this case, I think he's deep enough where you can put a little bet in there. I'm really surprised that Scott just immediately, the diamond came. Okay, I'm done with it. Now, depending on the type of player you are, now if it's you,
Yeah.
you might want to check so you can get some money in on the river.
Right, because I'm not going to get any if I.
Now,
have-
me, I can probably bet the turn because they think I'm full of shit anyway.
That's right. That's right.
It's amazing how many people think I'm bluffing all the time.
I know. I know.
Unreal. They never
well,
think
you
I
really,
am.
you play it. You play the lively one, even when you're not in the hand and all that. You come across as the lively
Right.
one.
Well, it's that appearance.
But
It's
that's
the
right.
appearance that you're reckless without actually being reckless.
Right. I saw you not even in a hand, and the way you called the cocktail waitress in Vegas was that here's a player.
Right. The way I smacked her ass. Fortunately for me, my wife is. And there's the king on the river. Really not much you can beat with ace queen here. I mean, obviously, you can't beat king jack. You can't beat ace jack. You can't beat two pair at all. You can't beat the flush draw. Really not much at all. Now, fortunately, Art has really played this hand well. He's built the pot up for himself. He's bet the turn. So now he can make a nice bet on the river. And he's going to bet about $170 on the river here. And he's built himself a pot. He's betting $170 into about a $400 pot. Pot is about $570, $170 to call. And Scott's got to look at it and go, well, I can't beat much, but do I have enough? Are the odds there that I should call this? Remember, he can't even beat 9-10. 9-10 got there. You look at that flop, and you can't beat anything except a weak ace. Ace 5, ace 6, ace
10.
9, ace 10. But would Art bet just an ace here? And Scott
Wow.
makes what I think is really a bad call. You got to start thinking about the hand somebody has.
Right.
Now, you bet the flop. Leave that flop on there for 1 second, Ronnie. So look at the flop there. Ace, Jack, 8. Okay. I have Ace, Queen. I bet my opponent calls. Now, if you want to take your game to the next level, you got to start going, what did my opponent call me with?
Right.
So let's start thinking of the possibilities. Did he call me with diamonds?
Right.
Did he call me with 9-10? Did he call me with a weak ace? Did he call me with a jack? Right? Okay, all these possibilities. Well, now the turn's a 7. The 7 of diamonds, which completes the 9-10, completes the diamonds. Okay?
Still behind, I know.
Still behind, and now he's bet again. Now the river comes a king. Okay? What hand would he bet on the river?
Right. Yeah, none of
Like,
those.
what
No,
draw
yeah.
didn't get there? If he had a weak ace, I think he's probably checking it down, unless he's trying to get you off of ace-queen, specifically ace-queen,
Uh-huh.
which I don't think is going through people's heads in this game.
Right. And that's, I think if you asked him after the hand, what'd you put him on? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. And that's all too often you hear that.
And
he said that's what allowed him to make that call.
And that's what I usually do when I start playing this game. When I see a card that scares me or somebody makes a bet that I don't like, I have to replay the hand in my head and go, okay, let's go backwards. Let's go back to page 1 and see what happens.
Right.
Not much I can beat here with ace-queen. Okay, I'm throwing it away. And obviously I make mistakes. I make very often. I make a lot of mistakes, but it's part of the way I go through a hand.
I'm going to have to call the clock on you soon. So keep you
Usually
from
what people
replaying
do.
the whole thing. Catch you at halftime.
Ace-jack 4 here, a couple of diamonds. And Kurt has the best hand here with king-jack. Well, he's not in there, though, sorry. It's actually Art and Nader. Now, Art has the best hand here with Jack 8. Now, normally, I always like to go after somebody who's tilting, but in this case, Art just won a big hand.
Right.
So, he's probably not. Now, if seat 5 we're doing this, maybe he is up to something. But I can probably pick a better spot than what Nader's has here.
Right. That's especially true in tournaments, too. People that just lose big pots tend to not act rationally for a few minutes.
Well, it's one of those things, you watch Yoshi Nakano, obviously one of the better cash game players in the world, really great player. He is so good at knowing when to go after somebody. Somebody who's good 90% of the time.
Yeah.
But he goes after them that 10% of the time while they're not good. Barry Greenstein says, he goes, 90% of the poker that I win is I win it against players that are steaming.
Right, right. Yeah, very, very, very methodical about taking out, going against certain players, seizing opportunities that are apparent to him and only him sometimes.
Now, if you have any questions regarding your subscription, I'm not going to address them on the air, but I am going to have our producer look at them, and hopefully she'll be able to get back to you at some point. So if you do have any questions about what's going to be happening over the next couple of weeks, feel free to email in. I might not get to them during the show, as some of them are very specific. But we will address them at a later date. Raise here from John. John's made it 35 with ace-10 of hearts. Not much out there to call. But Nader's going to call anyway. He's got suited king. Scott not in there anymore. We're heads up here. Pot is $80. Queen 5-3. Flop really misses both players, but once again, John is in position. You can use the power of position here.
Yeah. Pre-flop at 60-40 and post-flop 70-30. And
Actually, I take it back. I believe the button is in seat 5. It is in seat 5, so John is out of position. That's actually an odd spot. Now, Nader is going to bet. He picks up the flush draw, and he is going to bet it. And that should be enough to take it down. One of the reasons that we saw Barry Woods last night raising out of the blind with hands like ace-queen, ace-10.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of usually raising with those hands unless I'm against really predictable passive players. Because what ends up happening is, invariably, more often than not, I will miss. And then what do I do out of position? How much money do I really want to commit out of position?
Right. And when you commit money and they're predictable, then they're going to let you know where you stand, and you can be done with it if they go over the top. Well, you're welcome, Jason. He's thanking me for the $14.95 to get him going. He's not a current subscriber. He doesn't use credit cards, so he'll be looking the PayPal route. Glad to give it to you.
Got a nice email here from Chio. He says, "Hey guys, been watching the show for about 3 weeks. I love it. I play online and watch, so I might have missed it. But where do I subscribe?" Well, if you go to the top left-hand side of our site, you just top left-hand corner, there's a little archive button, and you click on it, and that'll take you there. And for just $14.95, you get every show we've ever had. If you're new to the show, we've got shows we have Barry Greenstein, 6 hours of Barry Greenstein commentary. We have Greg Raymer in the booth. We have Kathy Liebert. We have Scotty Wynn, Antonio Esfandari. You name it, they've been on the show. Kenneth James, Men the Master, Michael Mizrachi, the Grinder, playing on the show. We're going to have Liz Liu next Wednesday. Jay Siegel. Oh.
I haven't played in a while. I've been doing the tournament thing.
You haven't at all.
Well, you guys scrapped the 200 game, so it's time for me to get up in the 3 to 5 game.
It really is. So. It really is. You watch this game. You don't think you can beat this game? Come on. I don't know
how embarrassing it would be if I didn't?
Yeah.
Can you bring tournament chips onto this game?
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? Pocket Jack's here for Nader, and he's going to raise it up. Now, you wonder obviously, part of the game when you're playing in this game, you really want to focus on your players. And if anybody starts noticing the way Nader is playing, Nader, now after he builds up his stack of $800, he's definitely kind of slowed down a gear.
Right. I know how that feels, because I got $1,000 in front of me once, and I tightened up from as tight as I was to begin with.
You tightened up?
Yeah. I got $1,000.
How is that possible?
I know. I played half a hand in an hour.
Scott's going to call him with pocket fives, and nice flop there. Nader has flopped the set, Jack 10-9. Now, if there's ever a flop where you can flop a set and be scared, that's it.
That's it. Sure.
2 hearts out there, and Scott is calling. Wait a second. Nader bet $70, and Scott called. And now Scott's going to throw it away. Talk about reverse implied odds. If the 4 comes in the turn, then what do you do? Unless he was calling to see if maybe he can catch a heart and use it as a scary card. Who knows?
Yeah, and he could have been trying that. I hope that's what he was trying.
Get an email here from Jason Whitmore. He says, although I am disappointed that I will have to shell out some dough to watch the show, it's not that bad considering I was a subscriber in the past.
Well, yeah, even still.
And once again, he says, I thought you guys were screwing yourselves when you started showing replays for free. It was kind of pointless to subscribe unless you were on an extended vacation. However, I love the show, and you can take my $14.95 to the bank. Thanks. Well, thank you, Jason. Once again, if you are already a subscriber, you have to do nothing. Change nothing. Just continue watching the show and enjoy the extra perks that we're going to be throwing your way.
Would you like to chop?
And I believe they're going to chop it up.
Yes.
Wow. And apparently, seat number 2 actually looks at his cards and then decides whether he's going to chop or not. That would never fly with me. I either chop all the time or I don't chop. And in my case, I never chop. So, really easy. Apparently, we've got a chip count coming.
I always offer up the chop because the other person wants to, and I don't want to.
Yeah, $6,800 on the table. John and Kurt have the table covered. Let's see how they're doing. John up $860. Nice night for him. Kurt up $600. Now, Nader's still down $500. Wow, I guess he's in for 3 buy-ins. And the rest of the table is pretty much, kind of middle-ish. Jennifer up $140.
Right. Yeah, Scott and Scott are both one hand away from being even.
Yeah.
Actually, they're not one hand away by the way they're calling off their name.
One good hand away.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, John raised. You got 3 callers.
And the flop comes out ace-7-3. Couple of clubs out there. Now, is Nader going to get in trouble with ace-5? We always wonder that.
Watching Nader tonight, yes, I think he's going to get himself.
Yeah, the pot was about $75, and he bets the pot, so the pot's now $150. Kurt is not going to get involved with H, and Nader is going to just call, it looks like.
Check your blind.
And he checked some blind.
I don't have the glasses. I haven't checked your blind.
And the pot is now $225. The turn is a 6, and Nader has picked up some outs. He can catch a 4 or a 5.
Yeah,
I got to tell you, if I'm John, I'm probably going to bet one more time and then maybe take the free showdown. Although I don't know if Nader had ace-king or ace-queen, I kind of think I probably would hear from him.
Right. Right. Yeah, the check blind really confuses me because I'm not sure what strategically that does.
Yeah, it's pretty much telling somebody, I have a good hand but not great hands. I can show it down, but I don't really want to face a big bet. And there's the five. Look at that. And Nader moves all in. Oh, wow. And that really puts John to the test. Now, this pot was, I want to say 225. The pot was 375.
Right.
Actually, $500 before this bet. So the pot is now over $1,000. The pot is about $1,100, let's say. $550 to call.
Right.
You're John. You're getting 2-1. What can you beat?
Yeah, and the 5 just makes the straight draw if that's what he's going for.
Well, you can't beat now. Okay, you couldn't beat 2-pair. You can't beat 2-pair. You can't beat an ace-4. You can't beat ace-5. You can't beat 7-6. You can't beat 7-5. I mean, I'm trying to think of what you can beat. And Nader already tips him. He already tips Bin. I mean, the only hands you can really beat here are what? A missed flush draw. You can beat missed clubs.
Right.
Now, I don't think Nader makes this move with ace-10, ace-9, or ace-8. Does he?
5-7.
Yeah,
I mean, he's probably either got 2-pair or a missed clubs.
Right.
But once again, more often than not, Nader is probably going to really screw around. And John throws it away. Nice lay down by John. You got to hand it to him. I mean, he put pressure on Nader. He had the best hand the whole way. And then when Nader finally catches up and passes him, John throws it away.
Right.
Nothing you can do about a bad river.
Right, and you got to look back and go, he made the right decision on the river by laying it down. And you got beat, but you made the right decision.
Okay, we got Justin is asking a question here. Unfortunately, people do jump on the show a little later. He says, okay, hey guys, what specifically happened to Bart? You guys keep mentioning some $5,000 mistake. But for those of us not with the in crowd, can you let us know what it was? You wanna take this one?
Yeah, basically Bart thought he was signing up for the $5,000 Omaha event, gave the cashier $5,000, and she signed him up for the $5,000 no limit event. That Bart didn't figure it out until after the no limit event was done. Well, the first day was done, and he had blinded out, and that he was signed up for the wrong event. And he talked to Harris, and he's out $5,000. And that's, I think, the gist of it. That's the Cliff's Notes.
Yeah. Pretty much signed up for the wrong event.
Although he's going to get some of that back from Phil Hellmuth if he listens to me.
That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Now, Nader's flopped a gut shot straight draw. And it checks around. John does not bet the ace-jack. Now, John has picked up a gut shot as well. And Nader is going to bet here. And I don't know if John can call, but John is going to call. Now, Nader needs a 7 or a 9 to win this hand. And the 10 is not good because the 10 gives John the straight.
You're not straight at that.
Yeah, exactly. John has the absolute nuts.
Now, can John get some money?
Yeah, the pot is only about $80. And he's going to overbet it a little bit and see if he can get a call from maybe a king. But Nader is not going to call.
You would raise me.
Well, I wish River was diamond and I was raised. One more.
Button has moved over to seat number 4. Once again, I'm David Tuckman. I'm in the booth with our potato, Jay Siegel. I got to tell you, Jay, you have been running absolutely on fire when it comes to tournaments. I know you didn't have a great run in the World Series, but before that, I mean, what were there, like 5 out of the last 10 tournaments you played, you got to the final table?
Yeah, I got some final table and some cashes on just a good number, a good percentage.
I mean, phenomenal.
And,
now, this is an interesting hand there. Seat number 1 has raised it up. Eric's raised it up with ace-jack. Scott's got 10s, and Scott S has got 10s, and Scott in seat 6 has got jacks.
yeah, I'm going to play a few more mini-series events and try and get some points.
Oh, that's a good idea. Now, Scott S is going to raise it up. He makes it $100 more to go after you get a call by Art. Makes it 100 more 10s. And how is Scott in seat 6 going to play jacks? Really, really tough hand to play.
Right.
When you've got a raise and a re-raise. you've got to start thinking of the hands your opponent has. Tens are probably the only one you can beat out of all those range.
Right.
Maybe ace-king.
Right. Yeah, this is where the phrase "I hate jacks" comes from.
Scott is going to re-raise with, and Bart and I always talk about it. If there's one hand that is misplayed more often than any other hands, it's jacks in this game.
How about ace queen? Is that a?
Oh, that's misplayed in every game you watch. And Scott throws it away. Nice lay down by Scott.
Good job, Scott.
Yeah.
Well, good job, Scott. Good job, Scott.
I don't have any of that, do you?
If they were all named Scott, I can get everything right.
And apparently Terrence Riley is coming to the bike to play some games. I mean, finally looking forward to putting a face to the email. Appreciate it, Terrence. And I believe we're going to say goodnight to you, Jay.
Yep, I had a great time.
I really appreciate you coming down.
Anytime you invite me, I'm here.
That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome.
All
Thank
right.
you very much.
Thanks, Dave.
The potato.
Thanks, everyone.
Never eat without a potato, okay? Steaks and potato. I'm a kind of a steak and potato kind of guy, and this is my potato.
All right.
So thanks a lot, man.
See you 2+2ers.
And we're fortunate enough we're going to get Hob in the booth, jump back into the game, and we're going to get Midnight.
What's up, Doug?
How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How
Good
you
to see
doing?
you, man. I haven't seen you in a long time.
I went out of town for a couple weeks.
Yeah?
Went down to San Diego, sat on the beach, had
That's
some
good.
beers.
That's good. You got to get away from poker a little bit.
You have to, man. Stay
Refresh?
sane. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in vacations here.
How's
Anything
the game?
going on in this flop? Let's see. Not much. Queen 8, 6 deuce. Art's open-ended now. Let's see if he bets it. Well, Scott's going to bet it. He's got absolutely nothing. He's got nothing.
You remember that one show, Old Number 7?
Which one,
You
John?
remember that one show? Who's this gentleman up here with the hat on, that beard?
That's John.
John, didn't
Yeah.
you know?
I don't remember.
You don't remember that show where the guy used to go running around in the mountains and had like a donkey sidekick? Old Number 7? You know?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
I don't remember. Art is called the bet, though. He misses, and Scott's going to win this with King High unless Art bluffs at it. I don't remember the show. I'm sorry.
Oh, gosh. Who was that big old NFL player? He was the lead
What's it
character.
called?
Grizzly Adams.
Grizzly Adams.
That's what it
Okay.
was. Old Number 7.
This guy's great. He's got a big-ass cigar that he puts in his
I
mouth.
saw that.
He's very entertaining.
Well, he looks
He's
like
actually a
Sam
pretty good
Farha
player, too.
Right? So. It's good show tonight?
Yeah, it's actually been pretty entertaining. We had Nader in the game. Nader jumped in there in seat number 4,
Sweet.
and he kind of splashed around some chips. Still down $500, but
He was
doubled
screaming
up.
at somebody earlier about something. I don't know what it was.
Yeah,
Over
he
on the other-
likes to scream about something always.
Yeah.
But, now, this is a game you play every once in a while.
Every now, you know what I like to do is sometimes if I'm running a little funny or not as well, I like to jump back down into the 3-5.
Right.
And, you know, you
Build
get
your confidence.
Get the confidence going again, and then you jump back up.
I mean, do you find this game, pretty just easy?
You know, to me, it plays pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a whole lot of, you might occasionally have some semi-bluffs here and there, but I mean, it plays itself. The game pretty much plays itself.
Yeah.
You don't need to do anything crazy to make some nice money in this game.
Make a lot of money. Yeah, I think you can. I was saying, you probably make about $40, $50 an hour in this game.
Well, this is the game that I really started out with. What do we got here?
Set of 5s here for Kurt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's got a set of 5s. Flop was ace, deuce, 5, couple of clubs. It was limped around 8 ways. Look at Ronnie getting those cards up there.
I would love to see him bet out.
Now, Scott S. has got ace 3. I mean, he's got top pair. He's got a gut shot. He doesn't have a club in his hands. Not sure if he wants to get involved. Nobody else has much of anything, though.
Yes.
And seat 2, Kurt, you haven't really heard from him all night. He's going to bet $50 into about a $50 pot.
I like that, though.
And Scott S. throws away the ace 3, and nobody's going to call, and he's going to take it down.
Yeah, I like that play. Connected board,
Yeah.
limp pot. I mean,
8 ways, you got to assume maybe somebody's got to draw.
yeah, or
Somebody's
you know,
got a club draw.
Maybe an ace 10, ace 9, somewhere. in
Right.
there, but
Somebody gets stupid with it.
absolutely.
I'm with you. So, you've been hitting the tournament circuit at all? Are you going to play some World
I'm
Series?
going
at
to
all?
play some of the series. Yeah, definitely gonna. I think we're going out there. I'm going on vacation again for 10 days or something with the wife, and then when we get back, I want to make my way out to Vegas and stay out there through the World Series.
Are you okay? So,
Yeah.
July 21st, maybe late July.
25th. I think I can get back into town the 23rd, and
Okay.
then
Are you going to be there with your girl or no?
no.
Okay, because we're going to be partying. We're partying with some porn stars.
Oh, nice.
So if you want to hang out with us, man,
Absolutely.
we got a
I'll go
rental
by the
house.
booth. Nice.
It's going to be me, Bart, Ray,
Oh, well,
Isaac,
Bart, there's a party waiting to happen. I mean,
the 4 of us and 4 porn girls.
nice.
So-
Well, I got to run that by the wife. wife's 4.5 months pregnant, so I don't want the woman scorned.
Hey, congratulations.
Thanks, man.
4.5 months
Thanks.
pregnant.
Oh man, I cannot wait.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Do you know, boy, girl?
We don't know. We find out end of the month.
Okay, cool.
End of the month. So I'm stoked out about that. But I like that. All right, Ray. We'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, Ray apparently pushing for the Ray Jr. thing going on. John raised it up on the button. Now, John has raised it up on his button almost, I'd probably say 50% of the time. He really taking advantage of position in this game.
And he has a hand.
Yeah, raised it up with ace-jack. Eric's going to call with a, he's going to call with a little,
Gap suited.
yeah, 10-7 suited there. That's going to bring Art in, the jack-8. Spades also. Nader's going to come in with the ace-9. That's going to bring in Scott S.
And I like Scott S.'s hand, too. I mean,
Yeah, we're going to see this 5 ways. $170 pot into the flop. And there it is, 8-8-3. And Art is flop trip 8s.
we'll
Now-
see how he plays it.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, I mean, nobody's got much of anything. Might you check raise here with this, or are you going to bet out?
It's a raised pot.
Wow,
Honestly,
Scott S. has bet, though. Scott S. has bet $200. Now, Art did check the trip 8s.
that's a nice play.
And Art and Scott is actually going to bet it with a pair of 3s. He's actually, I believe, moved all in, right? He's moved all in for just a little under $200.
Wow.
So the pot is now about $350, and it's over to Art. And I mean, obviously, it's an easy call. Do you bother raising, or do you just call?
Well, he's already all in. You got,
One player behind. I mean, is there a point in re-raising? Not really, is there?
No, I mean it's not. Like I was saying, it's a raised pot pre-flop. I mean, if the guy's got pocket 3s or over hearts, I mean, God bless him. But
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously Nader not going to play there.
Right.
And this pot is about $550.
drawing down
And-
to 2 3s.
Scott needs, yeah, and he is, he can catch a, nope, done.
That's it.
That's it.
Boats on the river.
Yeah. That's another thing. You needed, running clubs there? Or running 3s?
No shot at running clubs. Yeah, or 2 3s.
Even running 4s doesn't do anything.
Nothing.
Oh, that's sad. You always like to put your money in when you're drawing dead.
Yeah,
So we got this Legends of Poker thing coming up pretty
I
soon.
cannot wait for
Which
the
should
Legends
be,
of
yeah,
Poker.
the action should be great here.
Absolutely. You get everyone from everywhere comes in for the Legends tournaments.
Yeah.
They really do. And the Bike is one of the most respected card rooms in the world, really.
Yeah.
Got to tell you, the cash games around that time of year are just incredible as well.
It really is. It really is. Actually, I'm really excited for Live at the Bike. We should have some great games here. I remember last August,
gonna be nuts.
we had Barry Greenstein on the show last August.
I remember that.
Cloney Gowan was in the game. We had Paul Darden in the game last. I'm assuming it'll be more of the same this year.
Oh, they're all going to be out. You name, I mean, who's who in poker? They'll be here.
My aim is I really, really want to get. Apparently, we are going to be getting an Omaha table in.
Really?
Yeah, so which will make mixed games much more viable. And I'd love to get a Doyle Brunson, Phil Ivey, Jennifer Harmon game here.
That would be solid.
Yeah, that'd be really sweet.
I'll definitely be tuning in for that. Or if you could get a mixed game going, let alone an Omaha. I mean, you're talking about getting a mixed game on live?
Well, they
that'd be
they
kinda
so
cool.
rarely just play straight games.
Right.
They like to play the mixed games,
Yeah.
and I'd love to get him on
Oh,
there.
that'd be awesome.
Flop of ace 5-5, and Eric's got the ace. Art's got nothing.
You know what would be neat about that too is you're going to have 3 hours of being able to see all the hands. Because when you see a lot of these, high stakes poker and WSOP, everything's edited, and you see either the great calls or the monster bluffs, or you'll be able to see some real poker and see what some of these players do. So
Right. No, that's what I love about the show. Obviously, we always talk about it when you compare it to something else. And I like GSN's high stakes poker.
Yeah.
But you're really seeing like the ESPN highlights.
Absolutely.
Of what's going on.
And on top of that, now the advertising is so much that you're seeing, I think, 2 hands every 20 minutes or something.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to watch 6 hands, sure, it's great.
Right.
But
I just TiVo it and I pass
I kind of want to see though, but I want to see the setup. Like when player A bluffs player B,
Right.
I want to know why they were able to bluff them. Did they set it up with a hand later, or a
Right.
hand earlier, something like that?
And that's the thing, though, is they show so few hands and it's edited down that you rarely get to see, what set what up throughout the course of the evening.
Right.
Which you can see that here at Live.
Now Jen is going to raise it up on the button with King Queen off, and she's got such a tight image. You wonder if anybody's going to call her at all. Scott's been paying attention to her, and I don't think he is. Now he's going to toss it in there.
I played with Jen a long time ago, and she's solid. She's definitely a solid player.
Now, you ever wonder, like, the one thing with Jen, I was talking to Jay about it right before he got in. Now, in a cash game, do you ever wonder if she's almost too tight? I mean, would you ever get mixed up with her in a pot?
Oh, God. I mean, I have to have a monster.
Right. So I'm never going to give her action.
And that's the thing, though. I mean, you have to give action in this game to get action. I mean, you don't. I'm not talking about give Mike action, but you know, you don't need to give that type of action left and right. But you have to give some action, and you have to. Actually, I was talking to Alan today. Alan used to be a prop Alan. Now he's playing.
Right.
And
Asian Alan.
Asian Alan, and we were talking about that. You know, getting action. How come he's not getting paid off in some of his hands? And I said, it wouldn't hurt you to. To give a little more action and show a missed hand every now and again, or a bluff, bluff off $50, $60 here and there, because he's usually in the 3-5 game.
Right.
Or otherwise, every time someone's going to know you have the nuts, and occasionally you'll steal a pot, but.
Sometimes you want that action. This flop has pretty much missed everybody. Art's going to bet with second pair. Jack 7 there. And, wow, Nader's going to call him. Nader's got bottom pair. Nader doesn't need much to call.
Maybe he's setting some up.
I mean, with two clubs out there, with two diamonds out there, you wonder, is he going to represent if a diamond comes?
Right.
Hey, no slowdown in Art, though. He's going to keep betting.
Have these two played a lot together?
They have.
Art, no, okay.
These are two of the probably the livest ones that give the most action at this table. And Art takes it down. King of diamonds on the river. Nader would have made 2 pair if he stuck around. So I was going to say, one thing it's weird is there a way, because I like to do it myself, people seem to think that I'm always bluffing. I'm not saying you do,
right?
But a lot of other players always seem to think I'm bluffing. I think you're more on to me.
Okay.
That I'm probably not.
I think you're solid.
It's almost like giving the appearance that you're reckless without actually being reckless.
Right.
Try Florida.
And we always talk about it. Are there ways to do that without necessarily, splashing chips around the pot? Is there a way to just kind of like,
make my money back.
act, put on that kind of, act?
Well, the tough thing about that is if you're going to put on that act, I think you need to put on that act all the time, whenever you're at the table. It's got to be consistent all the time, because a good player will pick up on that.
Right.
And especially when you're playing, high-stakes games, people pick up on that. If they're, if they know what they're doing, they pick up on stuff like that. So.
I never like to judge a book by its cover, because in today's day and age, you really can't tell.
Right.
But, let's get a shot of seat 8. Okay, that's Rick Nebbiolo. Okay? Do you know Rick?
Yeah, I play with him.
Okay, now Rick is a 2+2er.
Mm-hmm.
He used to work here at the Bike. He has been in and around poker halls for a long time.
Right.
Now, you don't even know him, but does he look like a reckless guy? Does he look like it's going to splash it around?
No.
He looks like he's grizzly tight.
Absolutely.
And he is. He plays 4 hands a night.
Yeah. No, I play with him a couple
And you
times.
just wonder if sometimes that kind of appearance. Now, Dan Harrington works it to perfection
Right.
in the World Series, in tournaments, where he knows what his image is.
Right.
He knows how people see him, and he kind of uses that. And he goes, okay, I'll use that to bluff once in a while. I don't have to win very many pots, but I'll use it to bluff every once in a while, and it'll work because people will be scared of me.
Well, you have to use. I think one of the keys to playing poker is knowing yourself.
Yeah.
And I think once you do that, then now you can speculate or how do other people view me? So,
Right.
I think you have to know yourself.
Being honest with yourself there.
Absolutely.
Now, Nader's got top pair. He raised on the button. Scott and John both called him. Now, John picked up second pair. Scott also picked up second pair.
Nader has the ace-8, right?
Yeah, do they really want to get involved? And how much heat can Nader take here with ace-8?
That's the thing, too. You're saying Nader gives so much action. It's hard to, you might peel one off.
Now, if I'm in position, I'd be more likely to peel one off than out of position. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes people make when they play against like Mike,
Right.
where they get themselves involved against Mike with really, really marginal hands. And they end up losing $2,500 with a hand they wouldn't even have been in there.
Yeah. And that's the thing about Mike. He really uses position. Mike's kind of fearless. He'll put money in the pot at any time, but if
He knows
give
the
him
value
an
of
inch,
position.
yeah, if you give him an inch, he's going to push and put you to a test. And that's what and that's what poker's about too, is putting people to a test.
Right. So, if your kid's a boy, do you have a name yet or no?
Oh, I don't know. Gosh.
John's got aces, by the way.
Let's see how he plays these.
Yeah, now I'm trying to see if the action is on limped around. The action is on seat number 6.
That's cool.
John is going to raise out of the small blinds. He
What do
makes
you
it
make it,
35. Yeah, 35. Rick's not going to call. Jen, now this is the question is, are you deep enough to call? It's $30 more to call. With pocket sixes, I call.
Oh, I would call too, and she has 600 bucks.
I
and
put
he's
the
got
guy
like-
on aces or kings, and I go, great. Let's see it
Absolutely.
flop. And that's part of what giving action is. Just
have
making a
to.
call like
Oh
that.
man,
And it's a correct call.
You have to call. I mean, the implied odds are there. You're looking at if you put John on a big hand. I mean, you may put him on ace king. You know, you might pop off a set with an eight. You're going to get paid.
Yeah,
and if he's got
definitely.
a huge overpair, you're going to get paid.
Well, you've got to realize somebody can say, well, what happens if he's only got ace king, though, and the flop comes out 9-6 deuce? How much money are you going to make? Remember, you have position on him.
Absolutely.
So he's going to make that continuation bet regardless. He's going to put another $100 out there.
Yeah.
So right away, you're automatically probably going to make 5-1 on your money,
Yep.
plus probably more. Who knows?
Oh. You see George over there? I knocked that stack over. Knocked it over once.
Look what he's doing, man.
So do you know how this all started? This guy gave him a couple beats, and you know George, it's one end of the spectrum to the other. So he rebuys for 3,000, and he says the lady starts counting out whites and purples, and he goes, no, all yellows, please. So she comes
All
back with
yellows.
6 racks.
6
6 racks. I said, why didn't you just get dollar tips, man? I mean, you could have hit behind him.
Nader with the ace king, Rick with the king 10 here. Flop is queen 9-5. Everybody checks it around. Turns a 9. Nobody's got anything. Literally, nobody has anything.
Look at these hands.
And I believe Rick Nebbiolo has bet with king 10. And Jennifer called. Oh, she had queen jack here.
Okay.
And you know
There
what?
it
John
is,
is kind of, he thinks these players are weak. You know what it is? Rick has bet on the turn. He figures he can get Rick off. And since Jen is only smooth called,
Right.
she goes, you know what? I probably,
Wow.
I just don't buy it. Now remember, John is on the button.
Right.
You don't think John would have bet a
Bet
9 on the button?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but Jen didn't really think about it. She didn't go that far with it, huh?
Wow.
But John sensed the weakness and took it away from both players.
Well, give it to John. I mean, that's a
yeah,
good play.
nice play.
And he knows his play. I mean, that's one of the things we talked about, knowing your players at a table.
Email here from Dennis who says, hey, are the archives labeled? Can we tell which ones have the various people doing commentary you just mentioned? And actually, we've recently overhauled our archives, and they're really, really well done. Very easy to find pretty much anybody. So,
And you know what? That's such an awesome service. I mean, $15 and you get unlimited poker. And you're talking about all the hands. Yeah, I'm hooked on Live at the Bike, to tell you the truth.
well, I know you told me it really helped your game. Just being able to, even if you can't stand listening to me and Bart, just turning the volume off and just watching yourself play
Right.
really has to help you.
Oh, you know, I mean, you learn so much. And then, not only that, but you go home and you watch what some of these guys are doing because they're playing an image or they're playing the player, and you see some of the stuff they're doing. It helps your game so much. I mean, it's amazing.
How cute it's been.
Very.
Just very, right? I mean, she's so
Very.
cute.
The wife's probably watching at home, so, you know.
She's just cute, though. She's just
Yeah,
like,
she is, yeah.
Jen's got the button here. Small blind, $5. Big blind, $5. Art is taking a break, so Nader is under the gun. Speaking of under the gun, you can go check out my blog. It's updated today. I actually wrote about a hand I had with Barry Woods. I had to give him his due. Barry Woods schooled me on last Friday.
Oh, you know, I think
Won a
was that
nice
here?
pot off me. I had doubled up off on somebody else, and I was up about $4,000, and then ended up pretty much giving it all to Barry.
To Barry.
Really upset. I mean, never want to lose a pot
Now,
to him.
was that bluffed off or?
No, I had a big hand, and he flopped the set on me.
Well,
King, king, queen here. Nobody's got a king. Couple players with queens.
Scott's got a queen.
Now, new player in seat 5. That's Tony. Now, Tony is... I'm going to get to Tony in a second. I used to play with Tony all the time. He plays stud high low.
Okay.
He is an avid stud high
Don't you
low
have to
player.
be at least 70?
Yeah,
to play
he or have a temper. This guy's got a temper.
that? Really?
Yeah. I mean, He's a lot of fun here. Now, his kicker is not going to play now.
No.
I was about to say his kicker was going to play, but now it's not. Both players have kings and queens with a jack kicker. Chop it up.
I've never played with Tony, but wow.
He rarely plays. No Limit is not really his game. He jumped in the 5-10 game last night with me.
Really?
Last night, and you could see that he was a little bit. I don't know. I don't want to say uncomfortable,
Yeah.
but just a little bit out of his element.
Right.
More comfortable in the stud high low environment. A pretty dangerous player though in that game.
Stud high low.
He knows what he's doing.
I think I played that once in a home game when I was like 16, and then we quickly stopped doing that.
Yeah. It's actually the one thing is if you play it with your buddies at home, you can really kill them in it because it's a game where, because you can go high or low,
Right.
any 3 cards to a novice,
Right.
any 3 cards look good.
Right.
They go, well, what is this? I got king, 10, 5. Well, I can go high or low. Okay.
Right.
I go both ways.
Well, see, we started varying it, and we would have like 2 and 3 wild cards, and that kind of made it. You know, you have 9
No.
wild cards in a deck. It really doesn't help the game out. So.
Right. What do you got? Well, I got a wheel for low
I have
and a
9
straight
5.
flush.
Can you beat 9-5? We started putting a cap on it. Like you can only have 6
Right.
of a kind.
You can only have 6 of a kind. Exactly. That's good. Nader with the ace here. Nobody. Actually, well, Scott's got trip 7. See how he plays it. Now, Nader's going to bet.
Right.
And if you're Scott, would you raise right away?
You know, I would. There's an ace out there. I mean,
Well, one of the reasons you also want to raise right away, you got to realize, look at the board, completely, there's no draw whatsoever.
Right.
Now, if somebody is smart, when they bet their ace and you call them, there's nothing you can beat now. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Now, the ace 4 gets out of there.
Was
Nader's
this
in there
limp
with nothing.
pre-flop? Had to be, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Now, Nader's
Well-
picked up a draw.
You got to bet this.
Nader has picked up a draw. Now, if the 8 of clubs were to come off or the ace of clubs were to come off, it's no good.
No.
But if another club comes off, Nader is going to could win himself a big pot.
Now, is Nader a limit player too? I mean, did he, or has he been?
I don't know exactly where his background is. And look, there it is. Oh, man.
Okay.
There's the club, 6 of clubs, and Nader's going to bet here. And he is betting too small. I got to tell you, I'm going to overbet the pot, putting my opponent on a 7.
Big time.
And Nader's going to win this with a flush.
Man, he let him get off easy. I mean, how do you put a guy on backdoor clubs?
And he only bet
you can't-
$45 on the river.
Oh, wow.
Now, I can understand you're scared of, you go, well, this guy's, if he's got in there with a 7, good chance he's in there with 7-8 or 7-6.
Right.
Maybe you're scared of the full house.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're, I don't
There's
know. I
nothing
mean,
you
if
can
you're
do
calling
anyway,
it-
though. If you
right.
bet 40, if he has 7-6, he's going to raise you anyway.
And the bet on the turn was what, 60?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
The pot was about $200.
Right.
Easily could have put a $200 bet out there and probably gotten called.
Easily, he could have bet the pot.
One of my favorite things to do in this game, especially, is that overbet.
You know, you could. That's the thing, though, is you have so many people. The 3-5 game is a game that people are, like that you graduate from the 100 to the 200. So, and there's such a difference between the 100 and 200 game and the 3-5 even. That there, you could do a lot of things in this game, and then it's almost like playing. You know, you buy it for 500. And you can almost play like, you know, imagine like you were to play short stack poker in a 500 or 1,000 game. You're looking for, you push, you double up, you're not going to lose more than 500
Right,
bucks
exactly.
in that game. So, man, you can make a lot of money. I used to kill this game. I mean, not patting myself on the back, but
No, but it's a game that you can. I mean, I was talking about it. I was like, if you're playing this game consistently, I think you can beat it at $50 an hour.
oh,
So now if you
easily.
start talking about it, you go, well, you know, you start playing, say, you know, 30 hours a week, 25 hours a week, 100 hours. I mean, you're talking $5,000 a month. Cash.
Absolutely.
You know, and then when the game starts getting deeper, you can probably even beat it for $70 or $80 now.
And you know what else would happen too? Like I said, I played this game a lot. I mean, this was my main game for a while. I would almost look at everything, because if you have a passive table, you know, $5, whatever. I mean, and you make these crazy hands in a 3-5 game because you know
And
you can get
paid
away
off.
from hands. And
So you lose $5
Yeah.
16 times,
Man, I would look
and then
at
you win
anything.
400.
King 3 offsuit? All right, $5, sure. I know that's not the way you want to approach poker, but,
But in a
again,
game
in
that's
a
so passive, yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, this is interesting. Eric, I was going to say, saying something. Eric limped in the cutoff seat with a hand like Queen 10. Now, at this table, I got to tell you, if I'm coming in this, if I'm playing that game,
Play
this
it
hand,
for a raise.
I'm going to raise it right away. I'm probably going to get Kurt out of there with Ace Jack,
Right.
and I've got control of the pot.
Oh,
Now,
there you go.
Nader is actually going to call this $100 bet. I mean, there was a raise there by Kurt. Nader is called with bottom pair.
Well, I mean, bottom pair, you know? I mean,
Hey, he's got the best of it right now.
and he's been sucking out left and right, I guess. So
Yeah, and the pot is already $300.
See, this is what I don't understand though. Is you're going to call a $100 bet
And
to
check.
win, yeah, and then check it, and then you're checking the whole way. Now, I don't understand that. The guy checks to you once you called the 100.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think you're good, you got to put a bet in there.
I think so.
I mean, you're calling 100 so you can take 100 off the
Well,
guy.
he actually is going to bet. He's going to call again at 100.
Wow.
There's another $100 bet by Curtin. Another call here. Pot's 500. The river's the 8,
Yeah.
and Nader makes 2 pair. And Nader was already good, but now he's made 2 pair, and now he's going to bet. He's going to hope his opponent has ace king.
Right.
Now you hope he has ace king, and you bet $300 into what is a $500 pot. And Kurt's just sitting there with holding his pud. He can't do anything.
No.
I hate that feeling.
Oh.
Sitting there, you got your dick in your hand, and what can you do?
Nothing but put it
Nothing
back in
but buck
pants
your
and
cards,
move on.
I hate that shit.
Yeah.
You look at it and you go, because you start thinking, you go, well, should I bluff at it again? Should I bluff at it again? And then the guy bets 300 into you, and you go, oh, I guess not. Okay.
Yeah, I don't understand that last play, but I guess he knew the 8 was coming. So.
Okay, here we go. Now you've heard about Bart's disaster, right? That whole podcast.
Oh
Okay.
man, I feel for him.
So the amazingly incompetent staff at the Rio, this is from Chicken Tender on 2+2. The amazingly incompetent staff at the Rio has awarded Bart Hansen a chance to play Event 9 winner Phil Hellmuth Jr. heads up for the bracelet. On hand 1 with a flop of ace 5-5, Hellmuth moves all in and Hansen calls. Hellmuth shows pocket aces and Hansen 2-3. Hellmuth celebrates the chicken quesadilla as he berates his opponent's bad play. Hansen replies, I have the nut low draw. I have the nut low draw. The turn and the river are the 3 and the 4, and Hansen ends up winning with a straight flush and nut low. Unfortunately, Hansen is playing the wrong event.
You know what? He's not going to hear the end of this until the next World Series, or until he cashes.
Oh, man, it's just brutal.
You know, I absolutely feel for the guy, though. I mean, but you know what?
It sucks.
But look, I got to say this. I'm sorry, but if
Get a raise here from, Nebbiolo raised it up here. He's got ace-6 of spades. Kind of a speculative holding. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, look, if I'm buying into a tournament for $5,000, I'm probably going to read my ticket. I mean, if I go to a car dealership and I buy a car, I'll probably open the hood and see if there's an engine in it.
Right.
So,
I mean, that's,
I don't know.
He knows, too. Tony's flop trip 10s here. Now, the pot was, it's about $120 5 ways.
Is Tony on the button?
No, he's in the first spot. He called, and then he flop trip 10s, and he's going to slow play it like a lot of beginner no-limit players do.
Right.
Nader in there with the old 7 deuce of spades.
I guarantee someone's going to move it. Oh, no. Nader.
Turns a jack, and nobody's got anything.
No.
And now Tony's going to bet.
And now we picked up a hard draw on top of the trips.
Yeah, I mean,
He's going to go bet, mock.
yeah, pretty much.
Unless old number 7 decides he wants to make a move. I can't believe you don't remember that show, man.
I'm sorry.
I'm about 60, so.
Grizzly Adams?
Grizzly
I've
Adams,
heard of it. I
man.
just never watched it.
Oh, the guy's like 6'9" with this monster beard, and his sidekick is this dude who goes up and down the mountains with this donkey on the side. It's like you're old number 7 and Bart's the donkey, and you guys just cruise around.
Yeah, Bart's good. This is great. Guy's down. Let's just kick him.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't laugh
Classic.
at it, what are you gonna do?
Well, I mean, hey, like I said, I really feel for him.
Oh,
I mean,
I
he
big
called
time
me
me
up,
too.
called me up right away, and I was like, I mean, I was almost sick. I
big
felt
time
so
too.
bad for him. But I got to tell you, the first thing I do when I buy in,
Man,
I actually look down to see what table and seat I got. I go, oh, let me see what table and seat I got.
You know,
Okay.
I like to make sure they spelt the name right. And then, I mean, I don't know. The day, I don't know. I mean, is it the right casino? I don't know. Poor Bart. You know what, though? And that'll drive you crazy because you're like, it's that helpless feeling. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Actually, I did that at home one time. I have this little place I put all my chips and all that stuff in. And I misplaced a 5,000 chip one time. I'm like, really? Did I really lose that? Boy, hell. And then you find it later and you feel better, but poor Bart. What do you got, a raise with the ace-10? Okay.
Hey, you didn't hear about the prize pool, the promotion we have tomorrow night. Are you playing in the game tomorrow night? The 10-20 game tomorrow night? No.
You know, I don't know. The wife's kind of getting on me about being down here, so.
Is she? Okay.
She's 4.5 months pregnant, brother. She wants to
Well, hey, there's a little give and take. You got to,
Yeah.
a little compromise. Like, okay, you got to take care of home.
I'll tell you what. I've just been nodding my head lately and going, okay.
And now Tony bet on the flop. He bet with the gut shot straight draw. And Nader called him, and it checks down, and Nader's going to win it with a pair of sevens.
Send it to
Tony
Nader.
had a lot of outs there. He could have got an ace, a 10, or a queen, but
Well, you know what the pattern
Queen
here has
deuce, no
been?
good.
The pattern been is that Nader likes bottom pair, and then he finds a way to make two pairs, or he'll call a big bet and want to check it down.
right, exactly.
So
It's
you know
working
what
for him
that should be
tonight.
telling people though is that look, if you have a hand, value bet Nader. If you think you have the best hand, you got to bet him because he's going to give you a call.
Say ass.
I said crap.
Button moves over to seat number 6.
I didn't say that.
Okay, so you hear this promotion tomorrow night.
Tell me.
We're giving away $500.
Nice.
No strings attached. All you got to do is you go to our site, somewhere between 6:30 and 7:30 Pacific time. Click on who you think is going to be the big winner of the night, and then they'll take you to the next spot. You have to basically you just press the button.
Right.
Okay, I think Alan will be the big winner. Okay,
Which one?
I know. And then you say how much he's going to win.
And the
Whoever
person
picks the
closest
winner and
to-
whoever's closest wins $500 cash. No strings
Nice.
attached.
Nice, man. Boy, look at you guys getting a budget and everything. What's going on?
Well,
Next thing you know, wow. That's solid. That's solid.
and everybody's eligible for that one.
Nice.
So,
That's solid promotion, man.
so if you're home, man, you can just
If I'm home, I'll check in. If not,
Click
I'll
in,
be
just
here.
press the button,
and
might as
hopefully
well.
people will be picking me. So,
right.
Did Kurt raise?
Kurt raised it up with Ace King. Art called him with the old Queen 7 hand. It's got a lot of value. You can make 2 flushes with that hand.
2.
You can also make 2 different straights,
Incredible.
not just one. It comes out 3, 4, 5, 6. You got a straight.
I think Queen 7 always outflops Ace King.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, he's done it this time again. And, Curtis checked, Art's bet. And,
What did that, 45?
Yeah, I mean, Ace King is just Ace King here.
Well, I guess you got to. I mean, if you think you got overs and you got to.
I don't like the overs here. Though,
I don't
gotta
either.
tell you.
I don't either, but I mean, I'm trying to put myself into Kurt's spot. Well,
He's going to call. See, the problem with this is, okay, what if you got called by some schmuck who's playing Ace 3 or Ace 10?
or Ace Queen.
Or how about King Queen?
Well,
Well, there's the ace, and it is good.
right.
And he's going to make money here. And the worst thing about it is that he now thinks he's good. Look at that. Way.
Bet out of position.
Yeah, he
is that
bet
what-
out of position. Is he going to take the card now? There's always a kind of play like this.
Well, see, now that'd be sweet if you knew
Yeah.
Kurt had an ace and then.
Yeah, Art actually bet out of turn. And now Kurt is going to check. And if Art was smart, he'd take
He
the
would take
card.
the card. Yeah,
But he's going to bet anyway. And now what is Kurt going to do? And I got to tell you, you can't love Ace King here. You got to realize there are so many hands that you are in trouble against. This guy could have easily made 2 pair.
Oh,
Also, if the guy called you with a hand as weak as King 10 or King Queen, your King is no good. I mean, the only card you're looking for is really a non-diamond Jack.
and how many times do you see that? Somebody will play Ace King and they'll get a call from Ace Queen, and a Queen comes off and the Ace hits, and now they made their 2 pair, and what do you do?
Yeah. We had it last night. It happened. Some guy had Ace 10. Flop came out just like this.
Right.
The Ace came off, and the Ace King went broke.
Right.
River's a 5, changes nothing, and Kurt's going to win this. Let's see, the pot is about $400, and it checks down, and Kurt's going to take it down with Ace King.
I don't know. I guess at that point you have to check, but I mean, you called the $100.
Yeah,
I mean, do you maybe even raise on the turn and kind of find out where you are if he comes back? I mean,
it's tough in this game sometimes because by the time you find out you're behind, you're pot
Yeah.
committed.
Yeah.
I mean, if he raises it 300 more
yeah,
and the
'cause
guy
it's
moves
not-
all in,
it's
what do you
a small
do?
game. Yeah, absolutely. You got a muck.
Obviously, sometimes a lot easier when you're playing those big games and you got $3,000-$4,000 behind.
Right. Well, I guess that's one of the lessons too. When you're playing on a bigger game, I would much rather find out where I am early than sit there and call my chips off.
Oh, not even a
It's
question.
like
We
there's
see it all
nothing
the
worse
time.
than 100, 300, 5, and then you flip over and the guy gets there on the river with 2 pairs or something.
Right.
Find out
Or
where
you
are.
find out you were outkicked the entire time. You're calling him down with Ace Jack the entire
Yeah.
time. He has Ace Queen. And you end up by the end of it, you realize the pot is so big. You go, well, I got to throw $500 in there now.
Right. How about that hand yesterday when I was watching it at home? Barry Barry flops Ace Jack,
Yeah. Oh God.
and Ed comes with 6-6. Oh,
Unreal.
wow.
And did you agree? I thought he should have overbet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he way underbet the pot.
Okay.
I mean, because if you're going to get a call, I mean, you want to get paid big with that hand. And Ed is going to call 2,500, $3,000 with a 6.
If he's got an ace, he's going to call the whole thing.
Of course.
Not even
And then he
question.
still thinks he thinks, okay, at worst I'm chopping.
Right.
Yeah, but you have the jack. I mean,
Not even a
what,
question.
what are you afraid of?
Tony raises it pre-flop with the big like he takes it down. Okay, I got to ask you now. I don't have any experience,
With
I'm
women?
married. Well, yeah, that too. Now that I'm married, I have no experience with women.
All right.
But, the only kids I have 2 dogs.
Yes.
Okay, nothing on the way.
All right.
But we do plan on having kids at some point. How's the pregnant wife thing? I mean, are you running out
Man,
at
I've
2 in the
been-
morning getting ice cream and stuff? And
I
pickles?
tell you what, and I'm not just saying this because, the wife's at home listening or any of that. I'm just saying, seriously, she has been awesome. I mean, in the beginning, she had a little bit of morning sickness, but nothing where she was, puking all over the place or had crazy cravings. She is, I mean, after the first 3 weeks, it was like, all right, let's go for get some exercise, go for a walk, let's
Really?
hit the tennis ball. I mean, it's great.
Sweet.
I mean, I've heard nightmare stories too. Actually, my sister-in-law, she was bedridden for part of her pregnancies too.
Really?
Yeah, so it could be tough.
7 ways here, limped around. Now, Tony's got open-ended straight draw. And I want to look see what else I got. 9-10, seat 6 has got, I believe, the best hand. I don't see a queen out there.
Scott is a 9.
Actually, Jennifer's got a set of 6s.
Yeah, also.
Jennifer's got a set. She bets right into it.
Like that play. Connected 4.
Yeah. Art is going to call with nothing. What does Art have? 5-7. Now he's picked up a pair. He had a gut shot straight draw.
Right. And Tony's
And
still in
the
there, too.
8 is there. No, the 7. I'm sorry. Tony's still in there with the open-ended straight draw.
Right.
Now Jennifer's going to bet $60 into about a $90 pot.
And now if the 8 comes off, Art's, he's no good anyway.
Yeah, he's fried. Yeah, I was going to say the 5-7. If the 8 hits right away, talk about reverse implied odds. If the 8 hits, Art is going to give Tony all his chips.
All his chips. And I think Jennifer's good enough to get away from it. I mean, one liner to a straight. But
At this point, yeah. But if a king comes off, you might not put him on Jack 10.
right.
Now, this is a question really of money. If you got to go.
So what was the bet here? What did
$60 into a $90 pot. So it's a $150 pot, 60 to call. You're getting 2.5 to 1 plus implied odds.
Oh, that's a good laydown. I mean, she almost gives you the odds to call.
Yeah, it really comes down to can
What
you.
was the ace of clubs?
Yeah, ace of clubs. Now, if you start thinking, well, okay, I think she's got a queen. I think she's got a pretty big hand. Can I represent clubs also? So maybe if a king hits and 8 hits, I'm good. But if a club comes, I can represent. But I don't know if he has enough money to get her off the hand anyway.
And I don't know if Tony's ever played with Jennifer. I mean, $60 into a 90. To me, that's kind of that's not really a strong bet.
Right.
But maybe he's played with her before. And that's one of the things we were talking about. Sometimes you have such a tight image. It's like, I mean, the guy's drawn to the nut, but
Doesn't get involved.
doesn't get involved.
Well, I'll often do that sometimes, depending on who I'm playing against. I'll often draw one card because I really want to hit it right away, so I can manipulate it and make a lot of money. I don't want to be waiting for the river to make my hand.
No.
End up paying a lot for my draw.
Right.
Get a raise here out of. Yep, Art's going to make it $20 to go with Ace King. Scott calls him in seat 6. John calls him. And we're going to see this 3 ways. Pot $65.
John, 8-10.
Well, there's the ace. Both players missed. This should probably go bet fold.
Right.
So I saw Superman the other night. Have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't. I went to, would you see it over at the...
Burbank, yeah.
Yeah, I took the wife out to dinner the other day, and we rolled over, and the line was around the corner, and I'm not one of those guys who likes to be in a movie with people ringing on their phones.
Right, right.
People walking in, hey, what's up? I'm not into that. I want to choke somebody out when that starts to happen.
It's funny. I mean, Superman kind of got panned. I mean, he got some really bad reviews, but I was like,
I heard it was good.
yeah, I went and saw it, and you know
I mean,
what?
for entertainment value. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to get an Oscar or anything like that.
No, but I mean, it's no different than the first Superman.
Right?
The first Superman wasn't like groundbreaking material.
No, not at all.
But it's very. I mean, I thought the guy was good. Brandon Ruth.
Yeah, but how was Spacey as...
He was great.
Was he? I
Spacey
love that
was
guy.
awesome.
Though.
He was
I love
great.
that guy. Yeah, I love him, so...
I liked him a lot.
Yeah, I plan on going to see that, for sure. And then we were going to go see Click, and that was sold out. That was kind of funny.
Click? Yeah, I like Click.
You hear Ray back there talking about check out the Nacho Libre. I'm going to pass on that, Ray.
Yeah, I missed Nacho Libre, too. I didn't see that yet.
I'd rather just have some nachos.
Watching Jack Black fly out. I think Jack Black is funny, too.
I saw that, what was that, School of Rock?
Yeah.
I like that, man. It was cute.
He's good. He's good. I mean, I like his band better than everything now.
Yeah, you know, I heard, what is that, the Tenacious D or
Yeah.
something? Tony calling with the dominated ace.
Queen 8-3, all clubs out there. Now, Eric's got the king of clubs in his hand. Best hand is still Scott with the tens. And let's see how it's played. It checks over to Eric. Eric's going to bet with the king of clubs. Why not?
I like that. You know, and Scott might think he might call. He's got a redraw to it.
Yeah. Betting 80. Probably, I mean, if you got a pair of tens there, I mean, to me, I'm either betting it or I'm checking and folding.
Right.
I just don't think. I mean, I guess you could check, call, and then lead out on the turn if a safe card comes out.
Right. And the guy could easily have ace queen with a ace of clubs, or you know, it's like.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even know what you want. The guy could be betting just an ace. He could have ace jack with the ace of clubs. Who knows? You have no idea where you're at. Once again, we're live at the bike. I'm here with Hob.
Yep.
Midnight.
Yep.
We're watching No Limit Hold'em blinds are 5 and 5. This is a restricted buying game, but the game's getting pretty big. There we are. Yep.
Look at that tan, man. That's what happens when you sit on a beach.
I know, you look good, man.
Yeah, we do what we do.
You look good. I mean, if I was a gay guy,
Yeah.
no, I still wouldn't.
I heard that comment. You rocked on Bart. What was that about?
Oh, I'll read it again. I have
That
no
was
problem with that.
Something about
If we're going to rock on Bart, let's keep doing it.
something
Here.
along the lines of.
Friday night. Okay,
Yeah.
Friday night.
Yeah.
We're all in the booth. We're hanging out. Jennifer was actually there, okay?
Okay.
We'll talk about it. Jennifer's there, and we were asking, you know, when 5 guys and 1 girl was there, we end up always saying, you know, for whatever reason, sex came up.
Right.
And we were like, we started talking about, and she was saying how, I can always tell if a guy is going to be good in bed.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So Bart pipes out right in the middle of it. He goes, you know, I don't think Matt would be that good in bed.
And
Isaac,
the room goes quiet.
yeah, exactly. Isaac, me, Jen, we all just look at Bart, completely deadpan, just look at
So
him
was there like a complete uncomfortable silence in the room?
you know what? Yeah, I've gotten to the point with
Wow.
Bart, I'm never uncomfortable. I just
Wow.
expect it at this point.
Right.
I mean, the
gets
stuff
all-
that comes out of his mouth sometimes, it's
You
unreal.
just expect to hear crickets chirping in the background.
I mean, I'm not even sure what, next Wednesday when he's in here alone with Liz Lou,
Right.
I just wonder what he's going to say. Get our last chip count of the night here, over $7,000. Now, this game's playing pretty big. 1,500 in for there for Nader.
That's a lot
Kurt's
of-
got 1,000.
For 3 to 5, we got some chips on the table.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Let's see how they're doing. Or not. There it is. John up 575. Kurt up 500. Nader, he is now up $300.
So who was busted and took off? Because
Who busted? And Kunal.
Kunal.
Kunal
Actually,
and
Kunal came
Scott
over-
S. The S Cargo guy. You weren't in here for that.
No, but Kunal's over in the 10-20 game.
Yeah, he plays some bigger games sometimes. He lost $1,000 here, so he figured he goes there and try
He
to get it back.
mixes it up, yeah.
Yeah. Ace 8 there. Nader with the best hand. He's got 8-9.
And looks like did he check it?
He did, and Art's going to bet on the button with nothing. And Nader's going to call.
Are you surprised?
Actually, Nader's going to raise.
All right. I mean, if you're going to check to raise, sure.
This is another time where I'll often check call, and then if a non-heart comes out, I will lead out on the turn.
Right.
100 more to call.
And obviously Art can't call this.
So I'm assuming these two have played together quite a bit.
A little bit, yeah. Like I was actually telling Jay before you jumped in here.
You know,
These
you
two are probably the
Squint
most
your
action.
eyes, and that's like a younger Nader, actually.
It looks like it. Yeah. It's funny. I mean, Nader sometimes jumps in a bigger game, but he plays it really tight when he plays
Really?
a bigger game.
Well, you know what? It's interesting you say that. We play with Maurice Moe, and in the 5.
Right. He was on the show for the first time last night.
Yeah, so I'm watching yesterday, and I'll tell you what, man. That was the first time I've really seen him play. I mean, no knock. I mean, I tell him all the time. I think some of the plays he makes are, like today he called me a raise for raise $60 in the 5-10 game. He called me a queen 4 offsuit. I mean,
You just wonder sometimes.
spikes 2 4s on the flop, by the way.
You know, the funny thing is, Bart used to
But
say
he
all the
played
time.
well.
Yeah, he thought Maurice was one of the livest players.
Oh,
he used to always tell me, he goes, Dave, you got to come during the day because this guy Maurice,
He is,
he
man.
just gives away money. And I kept telling him, I go, listen, so I started playing with him
Yeah.
at night because he'd stick around. And I go, you know what? I don't know what you're saying, Bart, but I think he's improved.
Yeah.
He really has.
Yeah.
He's no longer nearly as live as he was just,
It also depends on
6 months ago.
how he's running. I mean, if
Of
he's
course.
stuck, he starts to become the old Mo.
Right.
Oh, here we go. Someone's flop trip things here. Scott, I believe.
Yeah, Scott's got it. Now, nobody else has got
Is
any.
there a diamond draw out there?
Yeah, Art's got, yeah, you're right. Art's got diamonds, 8 high.
All right.
Talk about the absolute definition of a naked flush draw. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got nothing else going for you except diamonds. And even if you hit your diamond, you don't know if you're good.
Well, it's, Eric here calling with a 6-7. All right. See, I don't like to call that. I mean, if you're gonna play that, race. If you think your 7's good, find out where you are and get rid of it.
I just, you know what, we always talk about it. I think no limit hold'em. It's a game where you got to pick your spots.
Absolutely.
And I just don't understand. To me, that's not a spot that I got to pick.
I mean, this is a limp pot, correct?
Yeah, and
I mean-
the actions on Tony, I'm not sure what he's thinking. Does he know the actions on him?
It looks like he wants to represent something here.
Well, you got a bet, a call, and a
And
call.
another call.
I'm not sure, but I would bet that somebody's got a king here. You know what I mean? Generally speaking, I mean, you got to look at it and go, okay, somebody
He
is
didn't know.
sandbagging.
All right. He didn't know.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't think he knew. With 6 deuce, with 3 players in there, pulled the old Chris Moneymaker there.
Yeah, that was sweet. I remember that. I remember seeing that.
4 on the turn here changes nothing. And you know what? Why not, Scott? Keep betting it.
I like that.
Nobody will believe you.
I mean, you got to put somebody on a flush draw. You got called. Maybe somebody's got a 7.
Hey, you hope somebody's got king 10 here or king 9. Why not?
Sure. I mean, your kicker is – you got a great kicker as well.
Especially, yeah, in a limp round pot. And the 6-7 folds, and Art's probably going to at least call this, I imagine.
What did he bet?
$100. No, actually, I'm sorry, almost 200.
Huh.
It was 100. Okay,
He might call.
put in 2 stacks. So it's about a $100 bet into about a $200 pot now. So you're getting 2 to 1 plus implied odds.
Well, if
You know
Garth, you're saying Art's kind of a gambler, so
Yeah, I imagine he's going to call this. The only thing you got to be aware of now, in this one case, he is good. I mean, unless the 4 diamonds were to come.
right?
But obviously, you're not going to lose much money on a double paired board.
No.
And fortunately for him, Scott's got the jack of diamonds in his hand.
See, I just don't see where the value in overcalling this hand is, though. Eric basically let you off the hook. I mean, he could have been on a diamond draw, a bigger diamond draw. So he lets you off the hook by calling the $60. I mean, I just don't see the value in calling 8-3.
Well, naked flush draws, I mean, I rarely will even call. I mean, unless the player I'm playing against is a complete fish,
Right.
and they'll pay me off.
Right.
That's one of the reasons why I really like straight draws better.
Right.
The straight draws, people just don't see them, like double gutters. Like one of my favorite flops, flop comes out ace, queen, 8, and I have jack 10.
Oh, gosh.
That double gutter, nobody sees it, the 9 comes off, and I stack them.
Yep.
And he's not going to call.
Actually, George and I, we shoot things back and forth, I'm sure, just like you and Bart do, and we talk about things like, you always have to have 2 things going for you if you're going to play, 8-3, what do you want to flop, a straight flush draw, a quad draw?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
it's like,
I'm with you.
you really
He's
want
still
to have
thinking about
something
it?
going. I thought he muffed.
I still got him.
He's married to him. Don't yell time. Tell him that Haval went ahead and told him to muck his hand. And then smack
He's
him
gonna
in the back.
call.
Oh, wow.
Wow, well, if he catches a diamond, he's going to be good unless it's the 4 diamonds. Well, he
Yeah.
misses. And if you're Scott here, I mean, hey, why not bet again?
Sure.
Although, actually, would you ever check and induce to bluff, putting this guy on a diamond draw?
You know,
I mean, is there any value to that at all?
But you only have $200 left. I mean,
No, I'm with you on that, but at this point, though, is there any way, Art's taking that long, is there any way he's got a king?
yeah, no, absolutely not. I mean, you never know, though. I mean, he could have the ed factor, and he could have a 7 in his hand, and he thought that long and called. I don't know. You're asking the wrong person, Mick. I'm trying to get in Art's head, and
I tell you, it's one of the most difficult things for us sometimes, because obviously our job, we're sitting here and we're trying to get in people's heads.
Right.
We're trying to tell our viewers what this person is thinking or what they should be thinking.
Right.
And oftentimes, when you get a player like Art, I mean, I have no idea what he's thinking.
I couldn't even.
It's one of the reasons
Try
why
to
I'm
guess.
never in there with a hand like Jack 4 of diamonds.
No.
I just don't know what
Yeah.
I want to hit.
You have to hit a flop perfect, and then even then, you might be no good.
Even then, exactly, I don't want it. I mean, Jack 4 diamonds, I don't want diamonds. I mean, I want something like, I guess 4-4 Jack. I mean,
Even
Which is
then,
gonna happen
somebody
to
could
what,
be
like-
playing 4 something else and
Yeah.
ace 4 or something. I don't know.
I mean, I'll take 2 4s of the Jack 4 in my hand.
I will
But
too.
but at the same time, though, you're right. I mean, it's I'll take Jack 4 here. How's that?
You talk about it and you get it.
Nobody's got anything though here. 2 spades out there though. Got about 5 minutes left in tonight's show. Now, you don't want to miss tomorrow night's show. See, Jack 4. That's the hand, damn it. See? Don't want to miss tomorrow night's show. We are giving away $500. That's right. Cold, hard cash. $500. All you got to do is go on our website, watch the show, click on at 6:30, sometime between 6:30 and 7:30 Pacific time, on the left-hand side of our site, there will be a little, a little poll. Just click on who you think is going to win the most money in the game tomorrow night, and then also click on how much you think they're going to win. The winner will be announced.
Play, huge. That game's going to play.
Yeah,
huge.
it should be a big game. Mike's back in town,
Mike's
so he'll
back.
be tomorrow night. We'll have Corporation Mike there. Barry Woods is not going to be there. He's in Vegas. He's playing
That's right.
tournament tomorrow.
Yeah, he's back on Sunday, he said.
But if you are the winner, and I'm going to announce the winner tomorrow at the end of the show, you will win $500. Cold, hard cash.
I don't see high-stakes poker doing that. I
And
mean,
I'm calling my buddies. I'm going to be like, hey,
Jeez.
put a bunch of votes in.
why not?
I think it's a great deal. If you get a chance after the show, read my blog, Under the Gun with David Tuckman, on the left-hand side.
What do we got here?
Ace 10-4, a couple of clubs out there. Now, Art's got the best hand, but, how much heat can he take with that hand? Ace 3. Now, he does have the ace of clubs in his hand, so it's kind of like, if the flush gets there,
Right.
he's got the backdoor draw. He also knows nobody else is in there with the nut flush draw.
Well, Eric's got a flush draw with
That's not a naked flush draw. If the 5 comes, he's going to get paid.
That's what we were saying earlier about having two things. And actually, I love 2-3. You see me play that a few times. 2-3 suited. I love it. Who's going to put you on that?
Yeah, one of the reasons I like it also, I'm going to throw a hand out at you. Let's say the flop comes out. Let's say it's raise pot, 3 people call. You have deuce 3 suited, right? Flop comes out, you hit a miracle. Flop comes out, ace 4-5. The likelihood is that somebody has a big ace, ace king, ace queen,
It's a raise pot.
and now you get paid. Now, if you're in there with a hand like 8-9, and the flop comes out 10-7-6, nobody might hit that. You know what I mean? Yeah, somebody might still have an overpair,
Right.
and you got the nuts. Okay, but you might not necessarily get paid.
Such a well-hidden hand. I mean,
Deuce 3? Oh, definitely. Ace 4-5?
yep.
Nobody puts you on it.
Nope. In a raise pot with callers. Jeez.
Get an email here from John Big Booty. He says, hey, can you guys put a picture next to the names for the promotion for the people who are somewhat new to watching the bike? I know the faces. I just don't know the names perfectly yet. Thanks. I wish we could. I don't think we can, though. This is kind of a promotion, a last-minute promotion that we're putting together, and I'm not going to put that on our technical staff.
You know what
So-
I think would be an easy way to do that? I mean, if you did do something, is you could just put, if you know their seat numbers right away, you
Yeah.
could- right next to their name, you could put a seat number, and then someone could look and go, I mean, I don't know how technical.
Well, the voting is open till 7:30.
Right.
So if you tune into the show, we're on at 7. Tune in. I'm going to introduce all the players right away.
There you go.
And
So
when I do, just,
tune in
figure
on
it
time.
out then.
Tune in on time. That game's going to play like a 20-40. I'm going to tell you that now. It's a 10-20, but it's going to play like a 20-40.
So you want to play, you're just not sure if you can.
Oh, man. Actually, I think I already told Moda to lock me up, but
Jennifer's got the best hand here, but she's not going to put a dime in there with Queen 4.
no. Well, you saw her lay down the queen earlier. John, I think John had.
And this is going to actually be the last hand of the night.
Nader's got a flush draw.
And I don't. Well, Nader's going to call. That's going to get Jennifer out. I mean, I just think she does. You know what? I'm not even going to get involved with a hand like this, Queen 4.
Yeah. You can't blame her.
No. And there we go. The river is the 8 of diamonds. Changes nothing. And Eric's going to have to bluff at it with 10-6. Nader's 9 plays.
Wow. Well, I don't think you're going to get a call here.
No, he's not going to go.
Oh,
Talk about sometimes playing your draws aggressively.
That's a nice bet by Eric.
Yeah. Fires twice. Puts Nader on maybe a missed draw, missed spades, or missed hearts, and he picks
Right.
up the pot with 10 high. Not bad at all.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, that's going to do it for us tonight, man. I really, really appreciate you coming in, man.
I love
Awesome.
coming in here. You kidding?
It's a lot of fun. Last night was a long show by myself.
Yeah, I bet. Jeez.
But tomorrow night will be fun. I've got a lot of great guest commentators coming in tomorrow night. Supposedly I have a producer of porn coming in tomorrow night.
Is that, that's not the guy from Family Business, is it?
No, it's a different guy. He's actually a professional gambler. Guy out of Staten Island, professional gambler, and he produces, directs, and writes porn.
Nice.
So, and he's going to be in here tomorrow night.
Is he looking for an angle?
We might have Joe win in tomorrow night.
Nice.
World Series of Poker bracelet winner.
Nice.
So make sure you catch it. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you tomorrow.
It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.